Chapter 488. However, no matter how much he screamed, the demonic man did not appear. However, more black flames came out of his body as if they wanted to burn everything. The golden armor on his body was wrapped in a strange flame and quickly sank into the ground. You want to leave? It's not that easy. Leave behind the true dragon chi. High Lord Scarlet Flame snorted. He clapped his hands, and a terrifying flame jumped. However, the black flame seemed to be of a high grade. It completely ignored High Lord Scarlet Flame's attack and quickly left with the golden armor. Humph! High Lord Sword snorted and slashed down with a shocking sword chi, instantly cutting the golden armor. The other High Lords also attacked. However, the flame was very decisive. It gave up on the broken golden armor and quickly disappeared with a portion of the true dragon chi. Yen Shan, who was in the crowd, was wrapped in the black dragon flame and instantly burned to ashes. Looking at the ashes, everyone felt a chill. The black flame was too terrifying. Even a prodigy could not resist it. For a moment, everyone looked at Lin Xian with deep respect because Lin Xian had such a terrifying flame. Yen Shan's death caused a huge commotion. However, what was more shocking was his identity. He was actually killed by a spy of the Black Dragon cult. Could Marionette sect have also joined the Black Dragon cult? The 5 High Lords looked at Marionette sect. High Lord Scarlet Flame's expression was cold. No, it has nothing to do with us. We don't know anything. The spirit-detecting realm martial artist said with a trembling voice. The other disciples also shook their heads to show that they did not know. Forget it. They really don't know. High Lord Green Lotus sighed. After the Azure Dragon Association is over, we will go and meet Old Man Puppet. At that time, everything about the puppets will be clear. The storm temporarily passed, and the competition returned to normal. High Lord Lung came to the ancient city and smiled as she watched Lin Xian's competition. In the arena, Lin Xian condensed a strand of black flame and wrapped it around the wind shadow sword. Opposite him, Zhou Jianying had a serious expression. She had already seen the power of the black flame. It could easily burn a prodigy to death. However, she also keenly sensed that although Lin Xian also had the black dragon flame in his hand, it was difficult to use its full power. He should be able to resist it. Let's give it a try. Zhou Jianying raised his sword. Her great accomplishment, sword will gushed out, and she slashed out with her sword. She did not hold back at all, and attacked with all her might. The terrifying sword energy could even injure a spirit-channeling realm martial artist. Lin Xian also made his move. His sword chi fused with the black dragon's flames, greatly increasing its power. As soon as they came into contact, the black dragon flame quickly burned away the opponent's sword chi. At the same time, the Great Success Sword Intent also cut down the black dragon flame in a fierce manner. The two forces clashed, but in the end, the black dragon flame won. Seeing this, everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. The black dragons, I was indeed terrifying. It could even destroy a Greater Success Sword Intent. Lin Xian's attack succeeded, and he continued to stab out with his sword. Countless sword chi rushed towards Zhou Jianying. In the next moment, the black dragon flames arrived in front of her, emitting a terrifying energy. The heavenly evil sword trembled and emitted endless light, as if it could not withstand the terrifying heat. Zhou Jianying used all her strength to push her Great Success Sword will and slashed in all directions. However, Lin Xian's 8th level sword Intent combined with the black dragon's flames did indeed surpass the Great Success Sword Intent. Helplessly, she could only admit defeat. Otherwise, the heavenly evil sword would be burned to pieces. For a swordsman, as long as the sword existed, the person existed. Zhou Jianying naturally would not allow her treasured sword to break. Therefore, she chose to admit defeat. Lin Xian retracted the black dragon flame. The true dragon qi in his body surged, and he once again rose to 80 feet. He continued to challenge the prodigies and finally rose to second place, second only to Infinite Dominion. Infinite Dominion smiled, and the battle intent in his eyes grew stronger. His body emitted an aura that looked down on the world, and he stared at Lin Xian. Very good. Finally, a powerful martial artist has appeared. I hope you won't disappoint me. Even when Lin Xian used the black dragon flame, he did not have a trace of fear. Instead, he was in high spirits. This was a martial artist who cultivated the hegemonic qi of heaven and earth. His entire body was filled with a domineering aura, and he did not put anyone or anything in his eyes. You must be tired from the consecutive battles. We will fight again in the next round. Infinite Dominion said, Okay. Lin Xian nodded and replied. He indeed needed to rest. The battle with Yan Shan was still okay, but the battle with Zhou Jianying had consumed too much of his energy. Moreover, there were supremacies fighting in the middle, which made his nerves tense to the extreme. He really needed a good rest now. Walking down the arena, Lin Xian sat cross-legged and quickly adjusted his breathing. The crowd around him left, leaving an empty space. This was respect and reverence for him. Until now, no one dared to underestimate Lin Xian. He was definitely the biggest dark horse in the Azure Dragon meet in the past 1,000 years. He had fought his way to second place from a nobody. Next, he would fight with Infinite Dominion to become the leader of the final prodigies. Just thinking about it made people excited. In the second round, Infinite Dominion still did not challenge anyone. Soon, the third round began. Everyone gave it their all, using their trump cards and fighting with all their might. This was the last round. If they missed it, they would not have another chance. Lung Yidao's saber intent soared to the sky, and his moves were bold. He fought his way to 17th place. Zhao Shui's illusions were unparalleled. His illusions were not weaker than Yu Yan's. In the end, he was also ranked 15th. Dongfeng Xiong was even more impressive. The bloodline power in his body surged, and a golden shadow shone behind him, as if he had come from the ancient times. A pair of golden fists swept around, and in the end, he was ranked 10th. These three people's results were extremely rare in the past 100 years. Zhou Jianying lost to Lin Xian and was ranked 4th. Then, she challenged Prince Heavenly Flame and regained her 3rd place. Prince Heavenly Flame was extremely angry. Not only did his ranking not improve, but it also dropped. However, the first few rounds were indeed terrifying, and he was not confident. He looked at Lin Xian several times, but when he thought of the black flame, he held back and did not challenge him. In the end, almost everyone's battles ended, and their rankings stabilized. At this time, they all looked at Lin Xian and Infinite Dominion. They were all looking forward to the final battle. Who do you think will win? Someone asked. It's hard to say. It should be Infinite Dominion, but Lin Xian's black dragon flame is too terrifying. It can even burn a green onion. I don't know if Infinite Dominion can withstand it. I thought that there was no doubt about who would be the champion. I didn't expect that it would be uncertain now. That's right. I'm afraid this is the biggest suspense in this competition. Although the black dragon flame is terrifying, Lin Xian has absorbed too little, and he can't use his full strength. I think Infinite Dominion should be able to withstand it. Indeed, we still don't know how strong Infinite Dominion is. After all, he has always ended his battles in one move. Everyone was looking forward to it, and they couldn't wait for the two to fight. The two of them did not delay, and quickly went up. Chapter 489. Lin Xian's sword intent was monstrous. The power of the 80% Great Dragon Sword intent was infinitely close to that of an ordinary Greater Success sword intent. Moreover, there was a trace of terrifying flames dancing within it. Opposite him, Infinite Tyrant stood with his hands behind his back, exuding a domineering aura. It was like a tall mountain that one could only look up at, and its aura became stronger and stronger as time passed. In the end, it surged forward like a wave. When the domineering aura collided with the sword intent, there was a sizzling sound. When the two collided, the domineering aura was pierced and a hole appeared. Not bad, not bad. You can actually resist my domineering aura. You deserve to be treated seriously. Infinite Tyrant's eyes shone brightly like two divine lamps. In the next moment, the aura on his body rose infinitely like a mountain without a peak, breaking through the clouds, raising the domineering aura all over his body to the extreme. Infinite Tyrant roared and used the domineering fist of heaven and earth. With a punch, an incomparably domineering fist condensed between heaven and earth and blasted towards Lin Xian. Wherever it passed, the air shattered. In an instant, Lin Xian felt the air around him tighten like a cage enveloping him. Before the fist arrived, the terrifying fist wind had already torn apart Lin Xian's defense. As expected of Infinite Tyrant, a casual punch was filled with endless domineering aura. Sword intent bloomed in his eyes, and Lin Xian slashed out with his sword. The 80% sword intent surged, and the black dragon flame was contained within. Black flame sword slash. The black dragon flame surged out of the huge sword chi, whistling in the air, and quickly slashed on the huge fist. In an instant, the domineering fist was torn apart by the great dragon sword intent, and then the black dragon flame drilled into it, burning rapidly. Suddenly, the violent fist cracked and dissipated at a speed visible to the naked eye. The black dragon flame was extremely terrifying. Even a venerable would have a headache, let alone a fist. Humph! Infinite Tyrant snorted coldly and waved his fist again. The cracked fist emitted an endless domineering aura. The aura contained an unimaginable power that counterattacked the black dragon flame. Then, Infinite Tyrant roared into the sky, and an earth-shaking aura surged out of his body. He walked towards Lin Xian like an overlord. With every step he took, the ground cracked open, and countless terrifying craters appeared. Lin Xian's body trembled. As Infinite Tyrant moved, he felt the pressure on his body grow stronger and stronger, as if 100,000 mountains were pressing down on him. This is bloodline power. Lin Xian frowned. The reason why Infinite Tyrant was so strong was that other than the hegemonic chi of heaven and earth technique, he was also a bloodline inheritor. The overlord bloodline in his body was abnormally powerful. Combined with the hegemonic chi of heaven and earth technique, he was able to unleash this tyrannical power to the extreme. I have to end this quickly. Lin Xian made up his mind. Such a battle maniac would definitely become stronger the more he fought, so Lin Xian did not intend to waste too much time on him. Raise the flames and burn the heavens. Lin Xian slashed out with his sword. Black dragon flames surged along with the sword chi. The flames danced and covered everything. The void distorted as if it would shatter at any moment. The appearance of the black dragon flames broke the tyrannical aura, and the space around Lin Xian slowed down. Then he attacked again. This time, on the wind shadow sword, the golden lightning and black dragon flames quickly fused, intertwining to form a black gold energy ball. Thunder fire annihilation. This was the first time he had fused the power of lightning and fire. He had simulated this move thousands of times in his mind, so it was natural for him to use it with ease. The Thunderfire energy ball accompanied the wind shadow sword and instantly rushed towards Infinite Tyrant. Boom! Infinite Tyrant stomped his foot, and his body shot out like a meteor. Afterimages appeared in the sky as he quickly rushed towards Lin Xian. The ground cracked, and the surrounding air was mercilessly torn apart. He was like a huge mountain, rampaging through everything. Not only was he violent, but he was also extremely fast. With this move, not only did he avoid the Thunderfire energy ball, but he also blocked Lin Xian's path. However, Lin Xian's Thunderfire energy ball was a killing move. It was not so easy to dodge. Under his control, the Thunderfire energy ball drew a strange arc as it quickly chased after Infinite Tyrant. However, Infinite Tyrant did not care. He instantly appeared in front of Lin Xian and quickly threw a punch. The violent fist tore through space and landed on Lin Xian's body. Lin Xian quickly used the golden lightning body to protect his vitals. At the same time, he also used the illusory demon steps to retreat. Even so, he was still grazed by Infinite Tyrant's fist. It felt like a mountain had crashed into his body, causing his blood to churn and his bones to almost fall apart. No wonder he was the leader of the four prodigies. The strength of his punch was too great. Even a spirit-detecting realm martial artist would not be able to take it. Fortunately, Lin Xian had the golden lightning body, so his defense was strong. In addition, he also had extreme speed, so he was barely able to withstand this punch. Although Infinite Tyrant's punch injured Lin Xian, the Thunderfire energy ball caught up to him. Boom! The void trembled, and a terrifying energy enveloped the surroundings. Heaven and earth lost their color as the Thunderfire energy spread. Not good! This energy is too terrifying. Infinite Tyrant might not be able to withstand it. Everyone looked over worriedly. The next moment, a golden light appeared in the terrifying energy ball and tore through the sky. Infinite Tyrant roared angrily and attacked with his spear, instantly blasting away the Thunderfire energy. He rushed out with his spear in hand, looking down on everyone like a peerless overlord. Come, let's fight to our heart's content. Lin Xian also rose into the sky. He held the Wind Shadow sword in his hand, and sword intense surged from his body. He was like a sword god reborn. The two prodigies faced each other and quickly charged at each other. Spear light filled the air, and sword chi filled the air. The two of them fought fiercely. Every attack could easily kill a spirit transformation realm martial artist. The two of them attacked with all their might and quickly dodged at the same time. Their speed was extremely fast. However, as time passed, Infinite Tyrant became more and more courageous. The violent aura on his body was extremely powerful, as if he was looking down on the world. Lin Xian is in danger. Infinite Tyrant has already activated the Tyrant Chi technique to the limit, coupled with his Overlord bloodline. Even a spirit-detecting realm martial artist might not be able to take him down. Yeah, we have to end this quickly. The longer we drag it out, the more dangerous it will be. Lin Xian knew this as well. In fact, he had planned to end the battle as soon as possible. However, Infinite Tyrant's strength was far beyond his imagination. It wasn't until this battle that he realized that Infinite Tyrant's strength was far beyond his peers. No one except him could compete with him in this battle. Even Zhou Jianing might not be able to. Lin Xian, you're going to lose. Infinite Tyrant laughed loudly. He held his spear with one hand and stabbed out quickly. The sky was filled with spear shadows, and the terrifying spear transformed into a roaring dragon. That might not be the case. Lin Xian stabbed out with his sword and split the golden spear light. Then a look of determination appeared in his eyes, and the last bit of true dragon chi in his body quickly circulated under his control. He had refined it for a long time, but he had only refined this bit of true dragon chi. The rest of the true dragon chi was stored in his battlesuit and could not be used at all. Now that he was using this bit of true dragon chi to deal with Infinite Tyrant, it showed his determination to end this battle quickly. This time, he had to succeed in one strike. Chapter 490. If Lin Xian's single attack was the strongest, it would definitely be Meteor from Outer Skies. Not only was it fast, but it was also very powerful. Combined with the true dragon chi, he should be able to defeat Infinite Tyrant. Thinking of this, he quickly circulated the spirit energy in his body. Then he mobilized all the energy in his body, including the power of wind, lightning, the black dragon flame, and the great dragon sword intent, as well as the true dragon chi. All these energies were combined and shot out together with falling stars. This sword could already kill a spirit-detecting realm martial artist. In the sky, a bright sword light lit up, becoming the only thing in the world. Infinite Tyrant was shocked. This was the first time he felt a threat to his life. It was an instinctive reaction. Glaring, he also used his strongest attack. Overlord Stance, Annihilating Spear. The golden spear turned into a golden dragon under his control and charged at Lin Xian. Bang! There was a loud sound, and then everyone lost their hearing. Endless light lit up in front of them. They lost their hearing and sight and couldn't sense anything. Only their bodies kept trembling. This scene lasted for a long time before slowly dissipating. When the dust settled, Infinite Tyrant stood proudly. His huge body emitted a domineering aura. One man and one spear, standing like an overlord. On the opposite side, Lin Xian also stood with a sword. However, there was a bloody hole in his abdomen that was caused by the overlord's spear. He had the powerful golden lightning body, but he still couldn't block that stunning spear. Lin Xian is injured. Looks like the outcome has been decided. As expected of Infinite Tyrant, even with such a powerful black dragon flame, he can still defeat Lin Xian. Looks like no one in the younger generation can beat him, everyone discussed. On the ancient city, the 6 sovereigns nodded slightly. This scene was similar to what they expected. Even though he lost, it's still an honorable defeat. Losing to Infinite Tyrant isn't something to be ashamed of. Lin Xian's mouth twitched. He quickly used the longevity art to stop the bleeding and used Golden Lightning Body to repair his body. On the opposite side, Infinite Tyrant stood with his spear, his expression cold. The scene was silent and a bit strange. What's going on? Aren't you already injured? Why aren't you admitting defeat? No way. Could it be that Lin Xian still wants to fight? But he still can't beat Infinite Domination. No one understood. Infinite Tyrant's brows furrowed slightly, forming a Chuan character in the end. His firm and resolute face suddenly flushed red. Finally, his body trembled slightly, as if he was trying to suppress something. However, in the next moment, he involuntarily bent over and spat out a mouthful of blood. What's going on? Even Infinite Tyrant is injured? How is this possible? Everyone was stunned. Originally, they thought that Lin Xian had been injured by Ba Wuji, and that victory had already been decided. However, Infinite Tyrant suddenly coughed up a large mouthful of blood. From the looks of it, his injuries were even more severe than Lin Xian's. What kind of injury did you suffer? There aren't any sword marks on his body. Everyone looked over, but they didn't find anything. Zhou, Jianying, and Prince Heavenly Flame were even more shocked. They knew how powerful Infinite Tyrant was. He was an existence that could crush a generation's geniuses. However, they didn't expect such a person to be injured by Lin Xian. Regardless of whether Lin Xian could win, being able to injure Infinite Tyrant was enough for him to be proud. In the ancient city, the 6 sovereigns were also shocked. Lin Xian had once again exceeded their expectations. To be honest, although they were shocked that Lin Xian had used the black dragon flames to defeat Zhou Jianying, they could still accept it, because the black dragon flames were an extraordinary existence. However, even with such flames, it was impossible to defeat Infinite Tyrant, unless he had another trump card. But what was it? These sovereigns didn't know. You can actually break my overlord stance. How did you do it? Infinite Tyrant's body trembled slightly. He didn't believe that no one had ever broken his overlord stance. One had to know that the Overlord stance was the strongest defensive stance in the hegemonic chi of heaven and earth technique. Once it was used, even an early-stage spirit-detecting realm martial artist would find it difficult to break through. With such a strong defense, coupled with the Annihilation Spear, it could be said that no one could block it. However, he didn't expect to make a mistake this time. Although the Annihilation Spear had injured Lin Xian, it hadn't caused any fatal injuries. Instead, his Overlord stance had been broken, and he had suffered serious internal injuries. Right now, he looked fine, but the spirit energy in his body was very chaotic, and he couldn't use it at all. Lin Xian didn't answer Infinite Tyrant. Instead, he slowly walked forward with his sword. With every step, the sword intent on his body became stronger. In the end, he was like a god of death. He raised the Wind Shadow Sword and pressed it against Infinite Tyrant's throat. "You've lost," Lin Xian said in a deep voice. Everyone was shocked. This scene was too shocking. The leader of the prodigies, Infinite Tyrant, had a sword pressed against his throat and was forced to admit defeat. Even the sovereigns' mouths twitched. There was nothing they could do. This scene was too surreal. However, what was even more shocking was that Infinite Tyrant didn't resist. With his arrogant personality, he definitely wouldn't allow such a thing to happen. There was only one explanation for his lack of resistance. He couldn't resist at all. Could it be that Infinite Tyrant has suffered serious internal injuries and can't move? Everyone guessed. Very quickly, this idea was accepted. This was the only reasonable explanation. Infinite Tyrant was unwilling. His bell-like eyes opened wide, as if they were about to spit fire. However, no matter how angry he was, he couldn't suppress the chaotic spirit energy in his body. He could only watch as Lin Xian pressed his sword against his throat. He had lost, but he was unwilling to admit defeat. His pride prevented him from saying the words "admit defeat." Lin Xian put away his sword and sighed. Indeed, Infinite Tyrant was an opponent worthy of respect. If he hadn't refined a strand of true dragon chi and sent it into Infinite Tyrant's body at the most crucial moment, disrupting his spirit energy and preventing him from using his strength, it would have been very difficult for him to win. But no matter what, he had won. Turning his head slightly, Lin Xian said to the judge beside him, "Senior, you can announce the result." The spirit-detecting realm judge sighed. The result was very clear. Lin Xian had won. Taking a deep breath, he said loudly, "The result of the competition is Lin Xian's victory. Congratulations to Lin Xian for winning all the battles and becoming the champion of the Azure Dragon Society." Everyone was shocked. After a long silence, they erupted into a heaven-shaking roar. A dark horse. He was definitely the biggest dark horse in the Azure Dragon Society in 1,000 years. He had fought his way from being unknown to first place and ascended to the throne. At this moment, Lin Xian had become everyone's idol. He fought hard, didn't fear the prodigies, and finally became the champion. The million spectators cheered wildly. Their voices were like waves, louder and louder. Lin Xian smiled as he looked around, enjoying this moment of victory. The 5-colored armor on his body glowed, and the true dragon chi on it increased to 90 feet. The 90 feet true dragon chi condensed, forming a true dragon bearing its fangs and brandishing its claws. It circled around Lin Xian, making him look extraordinarily mighty. Chapter 491. The group of beautiful martial artists below screamed. Their faces flushed red. "Lin Xian! Lin Xian!" Orderly shouts rang out, resounding through the clouds. Lin Xian closed his eyes and felt the true dragon chi. Soon, he seemed to have crossed time and space and felt the existence of the great dragon sword again. Lost place, Azure Dragon's sacred hall. Lin Xian muttered in his heart. He finally knew where the great dragon sword was. At the same time, he also found a way to enter the lost place. That was to use the true dragon chi. When the true dragon Qi was in charge of his body, he could sense the lost place and directly teleport there. There was only one chance. If he missed it, he would have to wait for the next Azure Dragon assembly 10 years later. Lin Xian took a deep breath and thought about it in his mind. He found that there should be no problem. When the time came, the 72 true dragon geniuses would receive the baptism of the true dragon Qi. He only needed to use the true dragon Qi to sense the great dragon sword and teleport there. I can finally get the great dragon sword. Lin Xian clenched his fists, looking at Lin Xian's voice. The martial artists below all had different expressions. Endless Tyrant's eyes were filled with unwillingness. He wanted to fight another 300 rounds. Zhou Jianying and Prince Heavenly Flame were silent. Zhao Shui, Yidao Leng, Dongfeng Xiong, and the rest were all smiling. Especially Zhao Shui. Her beautiful eyes were fixed on Lin Xian. On the spectator stand, Iron Arms was slightly stunned. He had never dreamed of this scene. At the beginning, he only wanted to let Lin Xian gain some experience. He did not expect Lin Xian to reach the throne. Everyone looked up. This scene was deeply imprinted in their hearts. Many years later, Lin Xian would become a legend in the Tiannan region soon. Under the restoration of the true dragon Qi, the super arena was restored to its original state. The first 72 Azure Dragon geniuses went up the stage to receive the baptism of the true dragon Qi. The 72 martial artists were excited as they jumped up the stage. As long as they received the baptism of the true dragon Qi, their bodies would be greatly improved. Their martial path would be smoother in the future. This was the benefit of the true dragon Qi. It was also the reason why everyone wanted to fight for the true dragon Qi. The more true dragon Qi he obtained, the greater the changes in his body would be, and the further he would go on the path of martial arts in the future. In addition, the martial artist sect would also receive inexplicable luck. Therefore, all the disciples of the Great Flag sect went crazy. Venerable Lord Lung was also smiling. Lin Xian stood at the very front. True dragon Qi circled around his body, making him look extraordinarily mighty, like a sword god descending to the world. He waited patiently, waiting for the baptism of the true dragon Qi. However, at this moment, the sky suddenly darkened, and a huge shadow covered the ancient Azure Dragon city. Everyone was shocked and raised their heads to look. Lin Xian also raised his head, only to see a huge shadow above the ancient city, slowly covering the sun. From the shape of the shadow, it could be seen that it was a strange bird with a huge head. It was a few hundred meters long, and when it spread its wings, it blocked the sun like a dark cloud. The huge black shadow flapped its wings and rushed down quickly. Who is it? Is the Black Dragon sect about to attack? Everyone panicked. On the ancient city, the 6 venerable lords frowned. They sensed that the newcomers were not from the Black Dragon sect, but 3 young men. Venerable Red Flame snorted and was about to attack, but he was stopped by Venerable Green Lotus. Their aura is a little unusual. Don't attack first. Let's observe the situation first. The huge, strange bird spread its wings and slowly descended a few hundred meters above the ground. At this moment, everyone realized that there were 3 figures on the back of the huge bird. There were 2 men and 1 woman, and they looked very arrogant. Their auras were abnormally terrifying, not inferior to the 4 great prodigies at all. Especially the young man in the middle. His aura was even more terrifying. Although he did not deliberately show it, everyone could still feel it. The 3 mysterious martial artists quickly scanned the crowd and finally locked their eyes on the ancient Azure Dragon prodigy. Everyone who was swept by the gaze froze. What a terrifying gaze. Who are these people? What are they doing? Everyone was shocked and did not dare to move. Soon, the 3 of them locked onto Lin Xian. There's no mistake about his appearance, and there's still the aura of the sacred bird on him. That's right, it's him. Then The young man in a blood-red robe on the right walked out and pointed with his finger. A ray of light appeared on the tip of his finger and spun rapidly, containing a terrifying amount of heat. A purple ray of light flew out and rushed toward Lin Xian. The power of this finger was abnormally strong. It was at least as strong as the 4 great prodigies. Feeling the attack of the purple ray, Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. Although this move was not much of a threat to him, the opponent's arrogant aura and ruthless attitude made him frown. His expression was cold. He put his finger together and drew a ray of sword chi, which he quickly slashed out. Chi. The purple ray of light was cut open and disappeared in the air. Not bad. You have some strength. No wonder you're so bold to kill the successor of the sacred bird. The young man said condescendingly, "How dare you? Which junior dares to cause trouble here? Get out of here." The judge of the spirit-detecting realm shouted angrily, "Humph! Who dares to stop our divine bird palace from doing things?" The young man said arrogantly, "Divine bird palace?" Everyone was confused. The divine bird palace was not among the top forces in the Tianan region. Are these people from outside the region? Even Overlord Wuji and the others frowned. They had never heard of the divine bird palace. However, the 6 venerables on the ancient city changed their expressions greatly. Divine bird palace? Are they from the Tianwu region? Are you from the divine bird palace of the Tianwu region? One of the venerables asked. Humph, at least you have some knowledge. The young man snorted. He was very arrogant and did not take the venerables seriously at all. The venerable's expression suddenly became gloomy, and his aura fluctuated. However, he restrained himself in the end. He only snorted coldly and did not attack. Everyone was shocked that the venerables could endure such humiliation. Was the divine bird palace really so terrifying? Even the venerables did not dare to go against them. Heavens! What did Lin Xian do to cause such a terrifying force to hunt him down? At this time, Venerable's Blue Lotus asked in a deep voice, "What business do the 3 of you have in the Tianan region?" The successor of the sacred bird of our divine bird palace was training in the Tianan region. We did not expect him to be killed. This time, we are here to capture the murderer and make him admit his guilt. The blood-robed young man, Hua Shui, said coldly, "What? The successor of the sacred bird of the divine bird palace died in the Tianan region?" The 6 venerables were shocked. They had high cultivation and wide knowledge, so they knew how terrifying this matter was. The divine bird palace was a powerful force in the Tianwu region. Its strength had reached the level of a 6-star sect, and it could completely crush the entire Tianan region. Although the Martial Alliance was an overlord in the Tianan region, if they encountered the divine bird palace, they would be destroyed very quickly. The successor of the divine bird palace was the focus of a divine bird palace. If such a person was killed in the Tianan region, the divine bird palace would not let it go. Who is the murderer? Him. Hua Shui pointed down. The person he was pointing at was Lin Xian. Chapter 492. The venerables were stunned and showed complicated expressions. Everyone exclaimed. They didn't expect the murderer to be Lin Xian. Is there a misunderstanding? Venerable Blue Lotus asked. No, we've investigated thoroughly. According to the information we received, he's the murderer. We don't need you to do anything. You just need to watch quietly. However, I'm warning you, if anyone dares to stop us, you'll be an enemy of the divine bird palace. You can't bear the consequences of angering the divine bird palace. Hua Shui warned. The venerables were silent, then quickly communicated with each other through their souls. Lin Xian was extremely talented and had a promising future. If he was properly trained, he could definitely reach the venerable realm. Such a person was too important to the Tianan region. However, he had offended a superforce like the divine bird palace. If he didn't handle it well and angered the divine bird palace, it would be a disaster. At that time, the Tianan region would be plunged into disaster even without the Black Dragon sect. Therefore, everyone was caught in a dilemma. Lin Xian knew how dangerous it was, but he didn't expect these venerables to do it. Soon, he sent a voice transmission to Venerable Lung, telling her not to do it. Then, Lin Xian slowly lifted his head with a cold smile on his face. Is the descendant of the divine bird you're talking about the three-headed crimson blood bird? If it's him, then yes, I killed him. Lin Xian didn't regret it. If he hadn't killed the other party, they would have killed him. In the face of life and death, he would naturally kill. If he could go back in time, even if he knew the other party's identity, he would still do the same. Humph, you admit it so readily. Come with us obediently, and I promise to leave your corpse intact when the time comes. Go with you? Intact? Lin Xian laughed. It seems that you're quite confident. Do you think you can defeat me? You're courting death. Hua Shui shouted coldly. Don't be proud of being a genius of the Azure Dragon sect. Let me tell you, people like you are not even ants in the Tianwu region. One more thing, don't try to escape, or I'll kill everyone related to you. Hearing this, everyone's heart trembled. The Divine Bird Palace's method was too vicious. Not only did they want to kill Lin Xian, but they also wanted to kill everyone related to him. This method was more like a cult than the Black Dragon sect. Lin Xian's face darkened. It didn't matter if they wanted to kill him, but if they hurt the people around him, he would never forgive them. His people were frozen in Xia country. The only people who were related to him were his friends, such as Zhao Shui and Dongfang Xiong. If they wanted to kill them, he wouldn't be able to stop them. Lin Xian had no choice but to seek help from Venerable Lord Lung. Soon, these venerables agreed to protect them. After all, Zhao Shui and the others were also peerless geniuses. If they were to grow up, it was very likely that they would reach the level of an honorable. Lin Xian was relieved with the assurance of the venerable ones. Teak, the Mies. Lin Xian said in a deep voice. His voice was filled with killing intent. The dragon sword will on his body soared to the sky, as if it was going to split the sky. So what? An ant like you can't negotiate with us. No one in the entire Tianan region dares to go against us, let alone you. Do you think you're geniuses? Let me tell you, you're not even insects in my eyes. Hua Shui sneered. Hearing this, the green dragon geniuses below were furious, especially Infinite Tyrant, Prince Heavenly Flame, and the others. Their eyes were burning with anger. They were peerless geniuses, the top of the younger generation in the Tianan region. They grew up with the halo of geniuses. How could they tolerate such insults? Humph, who are you calling an ant? Prince Heavenly Flame snorted. Behind him, the 8 Desolation Flaming Dragon diagram roared. In this year's Green Dragon Society, his ranking had dropped by 1 place. He was already depressed. Now that someone dared to call him trash, he couldn't stand it. I'm not convinced. Hua Shui stepped in the air. Use all your moves. I'll let you know what a real genius is. 8 Desolation Flaming Dragon diagram. Suppress! Prince Heavenly Flame roared. Behind him, 8 fire dragons intertwined, forming a mysterious flame diagram that covered the sky. A fire-based martial artist and an earth-grade martial art? Hua Shui was slightly surprised. Then he sneered. A good earth-grade martial art is wasted in your hands. Let me show you what a real flame is. He stretched out his index finger, and a purple flame appeared on his fingertip. Then the flame formed a fist-sized energy ball and flew down quickly. Boom! The purple flame hit the 8 Desolation Flaming Dragon diagram and tore it apart. What? Everyone was surprised that the 8 Desolation Flaming Dragon diagram was destroyed in 1 hit. That purple flame is too terrifying. This person is at least as strong as Infinite Tyrant. I don't know if he's an elite disciple or an ordinary disciple. If he's an ordinary disciple, then the divine bird palace is too powerful. I don't know if he's an ordinary disciple, but the other two's aura are stronger than him. Look at the young man in the black robe in the middle. His aura is too terrifying. Everyone was frightened. They thought that the four geniuses were the strongest, but they didn't expect these three to be so powerful. They weren't any weaker than the geniuses. It seems that Lin Xian is in danger this time. The 8 Desolation Flaming Dragon diagram was destroyed. Prince Heavenly Flame was shocked and angry, and his handsome face instantly turned red. 8 Desolation Flaming Dragon. Burn the world. Prince Heavenly Flame roared unwillingly. He waved his fists, and a terrifying flame rose up into the sky. Humph! You can't even withstand a single blow, Hua Shui snorted. The purple flame intertwined between his fingers, forming a small lotus. With a wave of his hand, the lotus floated down and burned everything. Prince Heavenly Flame was severely injured after his strongest attack was destroyed. He kept retreating and spitting out blood. He was frightened. Judging from these 2 moves, his opponent's strength was definitely not below Infinite Tyrant's. Humph, what a bullshit genius. The Sky Martial Region is the holy land of martial arts. How dare you call yourself a genius in such a remote place like the South Sky region? You're just a frog in a well. Interesting. Let me deal with you. Infinite Tyrant stood out, exuding a domineering aura, domineering fist of heavens and earth. With a punch, the wind and clouds changed. Hua Shui's face turned solemn. This aura was enough to threaten him. He waved his hand, and the purple flame on it jumped, forming a huge purple flame palm that slammed down. Boom! The fist and palm collided, creating a shocking roar. Destructive spear. After the first attack, Infinite Tyrant attacked again. He waved his long spear like a dragon. A golden light pierced through the clouds and quickly hit Hua Shui, sending him flying. Humph! You're just SOL. What right do you have to laugh at us? Chapter 493. Limitless Tyrant stood with his spear, exuding a domineering aura. You're courting death. How dare you hurt me? Hua Shui screamed angrily. Then purple flames spread all over his body, condensing into a purple flaming bird, and rushed down. A terrifyingly hot aura spread out, and the flames seemed to be able to burn everything. Everyone retreated in fear. Limitless Tyrant held his spear, wanting to attack again. But this time, a green figure was faster than him. The sword intent was shocking, and the blue sword light dyed the sky. Sword chi surged, instantly cutting the purple flaming bird in half. The terrifying sword chi slashed Hua Shui, sending him flying again. You can't even withstand a single blow. Zhou Jianying put away the heavenly evil sword and returned to the crowd. The crowd below was excited. They thought that any random disciple from the Divine Bird Palace could crush them, but they didn't expect Limitless Tyrant and Zhou Jianying to directly attack and send them flying. The two used their actions to prove who was the trash. You think you're qualified to laugh at us? Lin Xian laughed. I think you're nothing. If someone like you died in the Tianan region, I'm afraid you wouldn't even be able to enter the ranks of the Azure Dragon Genius. What's there to be arrogant about? You're just trash that relied on resources. You're courting death. Hua Shui screamed. As a disciple of the Divine Bird Palace, he had a high status and had never been treated like this. This time, he came to the Tianan region with an arrogant attitude, not putting anyone in his eyes. But he didn't expect that today. He would lose 2 battles, losing to a martial artist from this barbaric land. Disgrace. Absolute disgrace. Now that he was being mocked by Lin Xian, his lungs were about to explode. Immortal Seal. Hua Shui's body burned with purple flames. His palms quickly formed a seal and a purple handprint appeared in the sky, suppressing all directions. With a boom, the huge purple handprint quickly descended, pressing down on Lin Xian. Before the handprint arrived, the air below was already ignited. However, Lin Xian's expression was cold, and he only made one move. He pulled out his sword, raised it up, and then put it away. The whole movement was smooth and fast to the extreme. Crack, crack! The purple handprint in the sky suddenly split open and dissipated in the sky. What? Impossible! Hua Shui screamed. The immortal seal was one of his ultimate techniques. Even a spirit-detecting realm martial artist wouldn't dare to forcefully receive it. However, at this moment, Lin Xian had easily cut it down with a single slash of his sword. He felt as if he was dreaming. What other moves do you have? Use them all. However, I'm not interested in fighting someone like you. Lin Xian sneered. His opponent's words and demeanor just now had filled him with anger, so he naturally had to retaliate. You dare to scold me? Good, very good. Brat, you've angered me. You're dead meat. Hua Shui was so angry that he laughed. He decided to use his best move. Purple flames danced on his body, forming huge purple wings on his back. Then, a shocking change occurred to his body. Her body grew 3 zhang tall, and her bones became thicker. Purple feathers appeared on her head, and her head also became ferocious. With a low roar, a dark purple flame instantly rushed out and pierced through the void. What a terrifying flame! Everyone was shocked, even Limitless Tyrant, and the others had serious expressions. Undying flame. Lin Xian raised his eyebrows. He naturally recognized this flame. He had even fought with this flame before. Others were afraid of the undying flame, but he was not. Firstly, he had the dragon sword will and could completely destroy the purple flame. Secondly, he now had the black dragon flame and was not afraid of the purple flame at all. He bent his finger, and a black flame appeared on his fingertip. It danced like the fire of the underworld. With a light flick, the black dragon flame flew out and instantly collided with the purple undying flame. The two flames collided, and a terrifying heat wave spread out. Extremely unstable cracks appeared in the surrounding space. Boom! Under Hua Shui's horrified gaze, the undying purple flame was quickly extinguished. Then the black flame hit his body and quickly burned. In an instant, he was enveloped by the black flame and let out a miserable cry. The lady in green and the black-robed young man were both stunned. They frowned deeply. They knew the power of the undying purple flame. It came from the 3-headed crimson bloodbird and was known to never be extinguished. But now it was destroyed, and the opponent used an even stranger black flame. What kind of flame was this? It was even more terrifying than the undying purple flame. Humph! The lady in green snorted. She flipped her hand and took out a green feather fan. She quickly fanned it. Whoosh! Whoosh! The green airflow gushed out as if it had magical power. There were flowing lights on it. The airflow quickly enveloped Hua Shui and resisted the black flame. However, the black dragon flame was extremely powerful. It could even trap a venerable for 100 years. How could they get rid of it? So, even if the green airflow was magical, it could not get rid of the black flame. Under the horrified gaze of the crowd, Hua Shui was burned to ashes. What? Hua Shui is dead. The lady in green was shocked. Hua Shui was a disciple of the Divine Bird Palace, but he was killed. Even the black-robed young man in the center looked gloomy. He said in a low voice, "Green, go and kill him." "Yes," Green replied. Then a murderous intent appeared in her beautiful eyes. It turned into a solid momentum and swept out in all directions. Obviously, Green was an expert. Her strength was above Hua Shui. Boy, how dare you kill a disciple of the Divine Bird Palace? No one can kill you. Are you crazy? Lin Xian laughed angrily. Only you can kill me, but I can't fight back? No matter what you say, you can't escape death. Green shouted angrily. Then come, let's see who will die. Lin Xian's sword intent was monstrous. He was like a killing god. One move is enough to deal with birdmen like you. One move. Everyone was stunned. The strength shown by the lady in green was definitely not below Infinite Tyrant. Even if Lin Xian was strong, it was unlikely that he could defeat her in one move. Green laughed. Arrogant boy. It seems that if I don't teach you a lesson, you won't know how powerful our divine bird palace is. Fine, let me see how you can kill me in one move. She was very confident in her own strength. She did not believe that Lin Xian could kill her in one move. Green waved the green feather fan in her hand, and a terrifying green light flew down. The green airflow flew out, and a terrifying energy spread out in all directions. The air within 100 meters condensed as if it was frozen. Then, the airflow in the whole area became chaotic, forming a killing move. Any one of the airflow could kill a spirit transformation realm martial artist. Even a spirit-detecting realm martial artist would not dare to fight against it. Such a terrifying killing move made Infinite Tyrant and the others frown. They all looked at Lin Xian, wanting to know how he would deal with this move. Lin Xian had previously said that he would kill his opponent in one move. If he could not deal with this attack, then his previous words would be a joke. On the ancient city, the 6 venerables also frowned. They also felt that Lin Xian's words were too arrogant. Humph! Arrogant boy! Venerable Qi Hua coldly snorted. Chapter 494. However, in the face of this terrifying attack, Lin Xian did not dodge as he held onto the Wind Shadow sword tightly. Then the great dragon sword intent surged out. The true dragon chi on his body was brandishing its fangs and claws as it quickly flowed and merged into the sword chi. With a wave of his sword, a huge sword chi streaked across the sky. Slash! The sword chi swept out in all directions. In an instant, the condensed space was broken and quickly returned to normal. However, this was not the end, as the sword intent slashed towards Lu Yi with an even sharper stance. Lu Yi was shocked as she waved her hands to form a green light defense. Her body was like a ghost as she moved quickly. However, she was still unable to dodge the sword chi. In an instant, the green feather fan in her hand was split in half, and her body was also split open as blood spurted out. What? She's dead. Everyone was shocked and stunned on the spot. The black-robed youth in the middle also narrowed his eyes. He knew Lu Yi's strength. Although she was not as strong as him, the people below should be enough. However, he did not expect that such a person would be killed by Lin Xian in one strike. She did not even have the chance to escape. The 2 disciples that followed him were dead, and he had no way to explain this to them. Thinking of this, he stared at Lin Xian with a ferocious expression. In the ancient city, the 6 sovereigns' mouths twitched. They had guessed wrong again. Especially Sovereign Qi Hua, his old face was flushed red. This strike was too shocking. Lin Xian's strength was much stronger than before. Infinite Tyrant revealed a strange expression. He could feel that this strike was very similar to the one that defeated him. He carefully looked at Lin Xian, trying to see through the profoundness of it. Suddenly, his brows jumped as he cried out, "Could it be true dragon chi?" "Yes, that's right. It's true dragon chi." Infinite Tyrant seemed to have understood something as his expression was filled with excitement, followed by deep shock. Lin Xian was able to use true dragon chi in advance. This was too unbelievable. One had to know that the last 72 true dragon geniuses could use true dragon chi when they were baptized. At other times, it was stored in the true dragon chi and could not be used. Even sovereigns could not use it. However, Lin Xian could. After fusing with the true dragon Qi, the power of his martial skills and moves had become enormous, far surpassing before. This was also the reason why Lin Xian was able to kill the woman in green in one move. How did this guy do it? Infinite Tyrant stared at Lin Xian in shock. However, Lin Xian merely smiled calmly. Not long ago, he discovered that he could already use the true Dragon Qi, which was great news for him. With true Dragon Qi, he did not fear those people at all. Even if the opponents were 3 spirit-detecting realm martial artists, he still had the power to fight. Since you came all the way here to kill me, you should be prepared to be killed. Lin Xian had no intention of letting the black-robed youth go. The other party's methods were cruel. Not only would it be dangerous to keep them alive, but it was very likely that their friends and family would also be threatened. Lin Xian would never allow such a danger to exist. The black-robed youth also had no intention of letting Lin Xian go. His mission this time was to capture Lin Xian. Taking a step forward, the black robe on his body fluttered without any wind, and an enormous power quickly surged out. Brat, you dared to kill a disciple of the Divine Bird Palace. You will atone for your crimes with your death. Not only you, your family, friends, and everyone related to you will disappear from this world. The black-robed youth's words were cold. He stretched out his palm, forming a mountain-like handprint, and pressed down. This is the aura of the spirit-detecting realm. He is a spirit-detecting realm martial artist. The crowd below exclaimed and dodged. On the stage, other than Infinite Tyrant and a few martial artists, the other Azure Dragon geniuses were all terrified. These people's bodies trembled uncontrollably. The spirit-detecting realm judge's expression changed greatly. If this palm pressed down, only a few of the 72 people on the stage would survive. This would be a great disaster for the Tianan region. Therefore, he attacked in an instant, throwing out a terrifying fist. Boom! The 2 forces collided and then exploded. The terrifying palm disappeared, but the spirit-detecting realm judge was pushed back dozens of meters, cracking the ground. Everyone was stunned. The spirit-detecting realm judge was pushed back. How terrifying was this black-robed youth? Is this a disciple of the Divine Bird Palace? Everyone felt powerless. Humph! On the ancient city, Venerable Red Flame coldly snorted. He was very angry at the black-robed youth's actions. With a wave of his hand, he was about to attack. However, the black-robed youth's cold voice sounded, "If a Venerable makes a move against me, I can guarantee that in less than 10 days, all the major sects in the Tianan region will be destroyed." Hearing this, the Venerable's expressions changed greatly. Venerable Red Flame's body stiffened, and his flame-like palm stopped in midair. A threat, a naked threat. However, they had no other choice, because the other party had such strength. If they angered him, the Divine Bird Palace would most likely be destroyed. At this point, Lin Xian could only depend on himself. No one could help him, and no one dared to help him. Lin Xian's eyes were gloomy. He shouted in a deep voice, "I said that I hate people threatening me, and I hate people threatening my family and friends even more. So, you can die now." With that, he waved the Wind Shadow Sword, forming dozens of terrifying sword qi that slashed into the void. Every piece of meat was infused with true dragon qi. The huge power directly split the void. "Kill!" The black-robed youth also shouted angrily and swooped down. His body was encircled by terrifying lightning, and the color of the lightning was purple. Fire, wind, and lightning. The 3 Divine Bird Palace disciples had these 3 attributes, and these 3 attributes happened to be the attributes of the 3 heavens vermilion bloodbird's head. However, this green-robed youth's strength was clearly higher than the previous 2. His cultivation had reached the early stage of the spirit-detecting realm, and his strength was beyond ordinary spirit-detecting realm martial artists. Under normal circumstances, no one in the younger generation of the Tianan region could be his opponent. Even Infinite Tyrant couldn't. After all, no one in the Tianan region had reached the spirit-detecting realm. However, Lin Xian could mobilize true dragon qi at this moment. His combat strength was very strange. His cultivation hadn't reached the spirit-detecting realm, but his current combat strength wasn't any weaker than a spirit-detecting realm martial artist. He was even confident that he could kill a spirit-detecting realm martial artist. The two exchanged blows, creating a huge commotion. Too terrifying. These two people are far beyond ordinary spirit-detecting realm martial artists. Is Lin Xian still human? When did his combat strength become so strong? Everyone looked up in horror and whispered. The black-robed youth became more and more frightened. As a spirit-detecting realm martial artist, he was very powerful. He thought that Lin Xian would be easy to defeat, but after dozens of moves, he couldn't do anything. He couldn't believe it. The gap between spirit-detecting realm and spirit transformation realm martial artists was like a chasm between heaven and earth. Although some spirit transformation realm geniuses could compete with spirit-detecting realm martial artists, that was when the opponent was an ordinary person. He was a genius of the Divine Bird Palace. His true combat strength was far beyond ordinary spirit-detecting realm martial artists. However, even so, he still couldn't take out Lin Xian. His opponent even almost killed him several times. Chapter 495. Lin Xian's battle prowess increased by several times after being able to mobilize the qi of True Dragon. He could now kill a spirit-detecting realm warrior. As time passed, the qi of True Dragon vibrated more and more violently. It was obvious that it was time for everyone to be baptized by the qi of True Dragon. On the super arena, a 5-colored light bloomed. Pure qi of True Dragon gushed out from the ground and entered the bodies of the True Dragon geniuses. Suddenly, the qi of True Dragon geniuses circled around, forming shadows of true dragons that roared ferociously. As soon as the qi of True Dragon came out, it quickly changed the bodies of those people. Many people closed their eyes and sat cross-legged, using the qi of True Dragon with all their might. Even Overlord Wuji, Zhou Jianying, and the others did not delay and began to cultivate with all their might. For a moment, except for Lin Xian, everyone was desperately using the qi of True Dragon. Feeling the qi of True Dragon in his body getting stronger and stronger, Lin Xian also took a deep breath. His perception of the great dragon sword was getting stronger and stronger. He had to end the battle quickly. If he missed this time, he would not be able to enter the Lost Land. What shocked him even more was that he could not only mobilize the qi of True Dragon in his body, but also the qi of True Dragon underground. This made him ecstatic. He could already kill a heaven-reaching realm warrior with just the qi of True Dragon in his body. If he added the qi of True Dragon underground, his battle prowess would be heaven-defying. Of course, this battle prowess was only limited to a short period of time. Without the qi of True Dragon, Lin Xian's battle prowess would return to normal. However, this was enough. At least it was enough to kill the black-robed youth in front of him. Seeing the 5-colored light on the super arena below, the black-robed youth in the air frowned. He had heard of the qi of True Dragon's special effect. It could increase a warrior's strength. Lin Xian's qi of the True Dragon was obviously the strongest. If he were to be baptized by the qi of the True Dragon, his strength would probably increase by leaps and bounds. At that time, it would be even more difficult to capture Lin Xian. This time, he had lost 2 disciples in the Tianan region. If he could not capture Lin Xian, he would die when he returned. Therefore, he had to take down Lin Xian no matter what. Thinking of this, the black-robed youth let out a low growl and began to burn the spiritual energy in his body. Streaks of blue lightning appeared on the surface of his body, forming mysterious lightning runes. It was the power of a bloodline, and a very powerful one at that. It was obvious that this black-robed man had inherited the bloodline power of thunder and lightning from the three-headed crimson blood bird. Now that he had activated it, it was truly terrifying. He waved his hand, and a huge lightning arc appeared in his hand. With a light wave of his hand, he was able to tear the void apart. If this attack landed, it was likely that all the Azure Dragon geniuses below would die. Lin Xian didn't want to attract any more trouble, so he quickly took action. He fully circulated the true dragon chi in his body and the true dragon chi below him, forming a 1,000-meter-long true dragon sword chi. As the sword fell, the terrifying sword, chi, split the void and slashed toward the black-robed young man. The blue lightning arc in the black-robed youth's hand also fell with a loud rumble. However, in front of the enormous true dragon sword chi, that arc of lightning appeared incomparably tiny. As soon as it made contact, the blue arc of lightning shattered and disappeared without a trace. What? This is impossible, the black-robed man screamed. At this moment, he was finally afraid. One had to know that the arc of lightning was his strongest attack after activating the power of his bloodline. That attack just now was enough to kill any early-stage spirit-detecting realm martial artist. However, such a terrifying move was broken in an instant. He didn't dare to imagine how powerful the true dragon sword chi was. Soon, he realized how powerful the true dragon sword chi was, because his body was trembling, a trembling that came from his soul. At this moment, the black-robed youth no longer had his previous arrogance. Like a stray dog, he quickly fled into the distance. At the same time, he crazily roared, "Boy, if you dare to kill me, the Divine Bird Palace won't let you go. If I don't kill you, the Divine Bird Palace will let me go?" Lin Xian sneered. He wouldn't stop because of the other party's stupid words. Since they had become enemies, he had to be merciless. Seeing that Lin Xian was unmoved, the black-robed man was both shocked and angry. He turned his head and said to the venerables in the ancient city, "If I die, the Divine Bird Palace won't spare the Tianen region." His meaning was obvious. He wanted the venerables to stop Lin Xian. "Humph, what does the battle of the Divine Bird Palace have to do with us?" Venerable Chi was snorted. Although he was afraid of the Divine Bird Palace, it didn't mean that he would listen to everything the Divine Bird Palace said, especially when Fong Fong was a spirit-detecting realm martial artist. If he wasn't a disciple of the Divine Bird Palace, he would have died thousands of times. Now that Lin Xian wanted to kill him, the venerables naturally wouldn't care. Seeing the five of them attack, the black-robed youth's face became distorted. He roared to the sky and burned the power of his bloodline to escape with all his might. The next moment, the terrifying true dragon chi fell and enveloped him. Under the true dragon sword chi, he didn't even have a chance to resist and was instantly turned into a bloody mist. When everyone saw this scene, they were all stunned. The powerful spirit-detecting realm martial artist was killed by Lin Xian in one strike. This scene was too shocking and terrifying. They would never forget it for the rest of their lives. The six venerables were also surprised. Lin Xian was able to use the true dragon chi like this, which surprised them greatly. "It seems that this kid has a lot of secrets. We need to find a time to ask him." They didn't intend to make things difficult for Lin Xian. They just wanted to know how to use the true dragon chi. If they could use the true dragon chi, their battle strength would increase by a lot. If they were lucky, they might be able to comprehend a higher realm. However, just as they had this thought, there was another change below. After Lin Xian killed the black-robed youth with one strike, he once again crazily used the true dragon chi below. He also used all his strength to sense the direction of the great dragon sword. The 90-foot-long azure dragon phantom on his body roared to the sky. Then the true dragon phantom slowly expanded until it was 10 feet long. The 10-foot-long true dragon phantom quickly spiraled and formed a huge vortex, as if it was connected to a mysterious space. A desolate, mysterious, and vast aura was emitted from the vortex. This scene directly stunned everyone. Even the true dragon geniuses opened their eyes and looked at the scene in front of them in shock. In the ancient city, the 6 venerables were also shocked. They had also participated in the Azure Dragon Society for hundreds of years, but they had never seen such a thing. They had never heard of a 10-foot-long Azure Dragon chi. Even at its peak, it was only 90 foot long. Not only that, but what shocked them even more was that the Azure Dragon chi had opened a mysterious space. What is that place? Is there some secret behind the Azure Dragon Society? The venerables were shocked, but then a touch of passion appeared in their eyes. Chapter 496. Judging from the aura, it was definitely an ancient space, and there might be peerless treasures in it. If they could enter, it would definitely be a great fortune. They might even be able to obtain 1 or 2 inheritance items. By then, they would be rich. Thinking of this, the venerables became even more excited. Venerable Chi Hua was the most impatient. He laughed and quickly rushed toward the true dragon vortex. The pressure of a venerable was vast and mighty, enveloping the surroundings, causing everyone's heart to tremble. Not good. Lin Xian's expression changed drastically when he saw this. He did not know what would happen if Venerable Chi Hua entered. He wanted to stop him, but with his current cultivation, he could not compete with a venerable. Boom. However, at this moment, a thunderous sound came from above. Venerable Chi Hua was sent flying backward at an even faster speed. He had been repelled. This scene immediately stunned everyone. A dignified venerable one was actually sent flying. What was inside the vortex? Whoosh. Venerable Chi Hua stopped himself, his expression uncertain. At that moment, it was as if a mysterious force had hit him, and that aura made his hair stand on end. Is there a cultivation restriction? The other venerables frowned. This was because some spaces would have cultivation restrictions for self-protection. This was a very common situation. It seemed that the space in the vortex above also had cultivation restrictions. Wu Dao, go and take a look, Venerable Chi Hua shouted. Okay. Crown Prince Tian Hua was excited. He soared up and ran upward. Following him were dozens of martial artists. Humph! Lin Xian snorted. He had summoned the space. So how could he allow others to enter? The next moment, he moved and flew toward the vortex. At the same time, the wind shadow sword attacked fiercely, releasing true dragon sword chi and slashing downward. Boom! Crown Prince Tian Hua and dozens of other people were sent flying. How dare you? Venerable Chi Hua was furious and reached out his hand. Lin Xian sneered and released true dragon sword chi again. When he was facing the divine bird palace, no one came to help him. Now, they wanted to share this mysterious space. How could there be such a good thing in the world? Bang! The true dragon chi collided with the heavenly hand and lasted for a moment before breaking apart, facing a venerable one. Even if he had the chi of a true dragon, it would not be enough. However, this amount of time was already enough. Lin Xian had already entered the true dragon vortex. Then, the vortex gradually became smaller and finally disappeared. The sky became clear again, as if nothing had happened. Damned brat! Venerable Scarlet Flame shouted angrily. Crown Prince Heavenly Flame's face also turned gloomy. However, no matter how angry they were, that space had already disappeared. Humph! I'll teach you a lesson when I come out. In the end, they could only snort coldly. Surrounded by endless darkness, Lin Xian did not know how much time had passed. It felt like billions of years. Suddenly, a blinding white light appeared, and he felt his body falling. In the blink of an eye, he activated his golden lightning body and formed his strongest defense. Puff! Countless waves splashed, and Lin Xian was surrounded by the lake water. He was lucky enough to fall into the water. With a sway of his body, he jumped out of the water and cautiously observed his surroundings. It was quiet all around. There was no one around. Where is this? The Lost Lands? Lin Xian was puzzled. Wu Ji, the snow-white little monkey, also jumped out and looked around with its black gem-like eyes. The aura of the great dragon sword. Lin Xian was overjoyed when he sensed that inexplicable feeling. It seemed that he had come to the right place. The great dragon sword was here. Demonic beasts. Lin Xian's expression suddenly changed. He sensed that the water below him had become rapid, and there were dozens of powerful auras coming up. Swish! Using the illusory demon steps, Lin Xian left like a ghost. Ka, ka, ka! Dozens of ferocious strange fish suddenly jumped up and surrounded the place where he had been fighting. These strange fish all had the strength of the spirit transformation stage, and there was a deep blue fish that had the strength of the spirit detecting stage. These were only the strange fish that jumped out. Lin Xian sensed that there was a black mass of fish approaching from below. F***CK. What kind of place is this? His figure flashed, and he quickly left. It was too terrifying. A group of spirit transformation stage demonic beasts with a spirit detecting stage demonic beast commanding them. This battle force was definitely extremely powerful. Not to mention him. No one below the venerable stage could stop them. This lost place was too terrifying. The more Lin Xian walked, the more frightened he became. Not long after, he saw a pack of wolves with demonic auras. They were not weaker than the school of fish from before. He did not dare to be careless and put away the 5-colored battle suit. First of all, the battle suit was too eye-catching and would easily attract the attention of demonic beasts in this forest. Second of all, the battle suit contained the chi of true dragons, which was the key to sensing the great dragon sword. It was better to keep it carefully. After putting the battle suit into the mysterious small sword, Lin Xian hurried on with the trace of connection he had with the sword. The lost place was a world of its own. The spirit chi here was many times denser than the outside world, causing the demonic beasts here to be stronger. The surrounding plants were even more lush. Towering trees could be seen everywhere, and one could not see the end of them. Those trees were very big. More than a dozen people would not be able to hug them all. They were over 100 meters tall and covered the sky. They were filled with a primitive aura. Lin Xian hurried on his way, shuttling through the forest. Not long after, he frowned again. This was because he felt that the ground was trembling slightly. Although it was very slight, it could not escape his perception. Then, the trembling became more and more intense, as if an earthquake was happening. Lin Xian was alert and looked around. Suddenly, he saw a large amount of purple gas rising from the forest in front of him. It was vast and mighty like a purple fog. This is demonic aura. His pupils shrank. He had never seen such a dense demonic aura. The next moment, he used his ocular technique and looked into the distance. In the distance, there were countless black figures. They were like a black mass, like a torrent, a pack of demonic beasts. Lin Xian took a deep breath and turned to leave quickly. There were more than 10,000 demonic beasts. Each of them was abnormally powerful. He could not fight against them at all. Whoosh, whoosh. There was the sound of something piercing through the air behind him. It sounded like a sharp sword piercing through the air. Someone's here. Lin Xian was even more shocked. He did not expect that there would be someone else in the lost place other than him. Is there another entrance to this place? He could not understand. As he ran, he used his soul power to sense. there were 4 figures behind him. There were 2 men and 2 women. Among the 4, 3 were at the late stage of the spirit transformation realm, and 1 was at the peak of the spirit transformation realm. However, their auras were very strong. They did not seem to be weaker than a spirit-detecting realm martial artist. Lin Xian estimated that the 4 of them had the strength of a prodigy. Because of this, he was even more curious about their identities. Although the 4 people behind him were also running, they did not look panicked. Instead, they looked very calm. "Hey, there's someone ahead." Among the 4, a young man with a black iron sword on his back looked ahead and frowned. Middle stage of the spirit transformation realm. Then he revealed a suspicious expression. How did they get in with such weak cultivation? Could they be disciples of those trashy 4-star sects? The few of them looked disdainful. Chapter 497. Could he be a disciple of one of those trashy 4-star sects? They discussed with disdain. From their tone, it was as if a disciple of a 4-star sect was trash. If word of this got out, it would shock a lot of people. It had to be known that 4-star sects were the top existences in the Dragon Star Kingdom. Even in the entire Tianan region, they were top-notch existences. However, such a force was trash in the eyes of these 4 people. It was hard to imagine where these 4 people came from. Chu Feng, go catch that kid and throw him into the group of monsters behind. Maybe he can calm their anger. As long as we delay them for a while, our mission will be completed, said the youth with the iron sword on his back. Yes, senior brother, Chu Feng replied. Then he sneered, and his speed suddenly exploded. Like an arrow leaving the bow, he quickly rushed forward. Soon, the distance between him and Lin Xian was getting closer and closer. They actually caught up. Although Lin Xian did not look back, he could clearly sense everything. At this juncture, the other party was rushing towards him. It was obvious that they did not have good intentions. With a cold snort in his heart, Lin Xian increased his speed. In an instant, the distance between the 2 of them widened again and became bigger and bigger. Kid in front, stop, or don't blame me for being impolite. Chu Feng shouted coldly. He was a little angry. A small cultivator in the middle stage of the spirit transformation realm was faster than him. He had chased for a long time, but could not catch up. This undoubtedly made him lose face, especially when there was a cute junior sister watching from behind. This was even more unbearable. For a moment, anger burned in his heart. You're courting death. Stop. Chu Feng shouted angrily and waved a dazzling blade light. The blade light shone like the Milky Way and quickly fell. It just happened to envelop Lin Xian. Stubborn. How dare you run away in front of me? Chu Feng sneered. He seemed to have seen Lin Xian being cut in half by the blade light. However, in the next moment, there was a sudden sound of something breaking through the air. His dazzling blade light was smashed into countless pieces. A sword light that was even sharper than the blade light quickly flew over. Bang! Chu Feng vomited blood and was sent flying. What a powerful sword light! Is it someone from the 4 deity sword villa? The 3 people behind were shocked. On the other hand, Chu Feng's face was filled with horror as his body trembled. Although he was only at the late stage of the spirit transformation realm, it was enough to deal with a cultivator at the peak of the spirit transformation realm. However, he was unable to block a single strand of his opponent's sword chi. This was simply too bizarre. Unless the other party was from Deity Sword Villa. Deity Sword Villa? Lin Xian frowned. It seemed like these 4 were not the only ones who had entered the Lost Lands. Most likely, there were at least 2 forces involved. He snorted coldly and didn't answer. Instead, he swept his cold gaze over the 3 people behind him. Lin Xian's ambiguous attitude made the three of them worried, and they even looked a little nervous. The young man with the iron sword on his back rolled his eyes as if he was thinking about something. Very quickly, he let out a few dry laughs. So, it's the senior brother of Deity Sword Villa. Nice to meet you, nice to meet you. After saying that, he no longer dared to pay attention to Lin Xian and quickly ran in another direction. Brother He, are we leaving just like that? Chu Feng gritted his teeth. What else do you want? Are you going to take revenge? The young man with the iron sword snorted coldly. Don't tell me you don't know what kind of place Deity Sword Villa is. If you want to die, no one will stop you. Hearing that, Chu Feng trembled. He stopped talking and ran with all his might to avoid the demonic beasts behind him. Lin Xian, on the other hand, ran in another direction. However, he was a little worried. Judging from the other party's expression, the Deity Sword Villa that they were talking about seemed to be a powerful force. He wondered if Deity Sword Villa knew about the Great Dragon Sword. If they did, things would become even more troublesome. The Great Dragon Sword was an offensive sacred art in the world, and it existed in the form of a sword. Its temptation was fatal to swordsmen. No swordsman could ignore the Great Dragon Sword. Therefore, the appearance of Deity Sword Villa made Lin Xian vigilant. Not long after, Lin Xian got rid of the demonic beasts. Then he stopped by the stream and prepared to rest for a period of time. During this period of time, he had been fighting. First, he joined the Green Dragon Society, and then he participated in the competition. Then he killed the disciples of Divine Bird Palace and came to the Lost Lands. During this period, he did not rest at all. Even if his soul power was strong, it was a little difficult for him. After summoning the little white monkey, Lin Xian separated a strand of his soul power to explore the surroundings. Then he closed his eyes and adjusted his breath. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Not long after, 4 figures landed. It was Chu Feng and the others. When Chu Feng saw Lin Xian, his body trembled. Then he walked carefully behind the 4 of them. The young man with the metal sword on his back looked at Lin Xian cautiously, while the other 2 girls kept staring at the little white monkey. What a beautiful little monkey, the 2 girls said softly. He-san, who had the iron sword on his back, looked suspicious. When did Deity Sword Villa have a disciple who raised a monkey? He tried hard to recall, and found that no disciple had a pet. At this time, the girl with the oval face was also puzzled. Senior brother, something is wrong. What? He-sen asked. I remember that the disciples of Deity Sword Villa have a habit. No matter the situation, they have to carry a long sword on their back. That person didn't seem to do that. Damn it, how could I forget this? He-san's body trembled. Suddenly, he understood everything. The disciples of Deity Sword Villa did have this habit. It was said that it was to comprehend the realm of one with the sword. From what he knew, no one dared to go against it. However, the young man in front of him did not carry a sword. There was only one possibility. He was not a disciple of Deity Sword Villa. Damn it, we were fooled. He-san gritted his teeth and said. However, he did not know that Lin Xian had never said anything. Everything was just their own guess. Humph, where did this young man come from? Not only did he dare to pretend to be a disciple of Deity Sword Villa, but he also dared to injure the disciples of Tianfeng's sect. He-san's voice was loud and clear. It turned into a sound wave attack and rushed towards Lin Xian. Wu-ji! Wu-ji, the little white monkey, waved its claws and shattered the sound wave. What a powerful little monkey. Senior brother, I want it. The girl with the oval face said coquettishly. Okay, when we capture this young man, this monkey will be yours. He-san laughed. It was worth it for a monkey to be able to get closer to his junior sister. Brother He, when we capture this young man, can I kill him myself? Chu Feng laughed sinisterly. Of course. The few of them discussed, and did not take Lin Xian seriously at all. It was as if Lin Xian was already a fish on the chopping board, waiting to be slaughtered. However, was Lin Xian really that? In the next moment, he opened his eyes. His gaze was like a sword, piercing through the void. That scene made the four of them tremble again. It could not be helped. Lin Xian's sword intent was too sharp. It was exactly the same as the disciples of Deity Sword Villa. "Young man, who are you?" He San snorted. "I will count to 3. If you don't answer, don't blame me for being rude." He coldly said, 1. Chapter 498. 1. Black 3's voice was cold as he stared at Lin Xian. 2. The 3 people behind him all pulled out their swords and released their aura. As long as Lin Xian did not say anything, they would use all their killing moves on him. At this time, Lin Xian laughed. "Tianfeng sect? Never heard of it. Is it powerful?" "What? You don't know Tianfeng sect?" Chu Feng and the others exclaimed. Black 3 was also stunned. Lin Xian did not look like he was lying. Could it be? His heart suddenly trembled. "Are you a native of the Lost Lands?" "Native?" Lin Xian was surprised. Were there still natives in the Lost Lands? It seemed that he really knew nothing about the Lost Lands. However, the other party seemed to know a lot. If he took them down, he might be able to get a lot of information. In an instant, Lin Xian made a decision. Whoosh! He used the illusionary demon steps, and his body turned into a shadow as he quickly rushed towards the 4 people. "You're courting death." Black 3 was furious. He did not expect Lin Xian to dare to attack. "This kid is very suspicious. Take him down and interrogate him carefully." In an instant, the 4 people attacked. Black 3 pulled out his iron sword and quickly slashed out several sword chi. The terrifying sword chi tore the void and crushed the surroundings. Chu Feng was behind him and also waved her long sword, forming dozens of dazzling sword chi. The other 2 women's palm shadows filled the sky, and it was terrifying as they surrounded Lin Xian. Returning wind, whisking willow sword. Willow branches appeared around Lin Xian's body and quickly rotated to form a sword screen defense, blocking all the attacks. At the same time, he quickly slashed out with his sword. Poof, poof. In an instant, the attacks in the sky were ruthlessly torn apart, and a terrifying crack appeared. The dazzling sword chi spread out in all directions. His body swayed, and he quickly attacked like a ghost. A ball of black flame appeared in his hand, constantly changing its form. Boom! The flame spewed out and turned into a cage in the air, covering the area below. In an instant, Chu Feng and the other 2 women were trapped in the black flame cage and could not move. Black 3 held on for a moment and was also surrounded by the black flame cage. "How can mere flame stop me?" Scram! He San roared. His body bloomed with light, forming a thick sword chi, and slashed forward. The momentum of this sword was vast and mighty. Even prodigious disciples would not dare to take it head-on. However, as soon as this terrifying sword chi touched the black dragon flames, it rapidly burned and was quickly burned into nothingness. Chu Feng and the rest were shocked and felt a lingering fear. What kind of flame is this? Why is it so terrifying? It was actually incinerated by Senior Brother Hei's sword chi in an instant. Fortunately, they did not resist too much. Otherwise, they would have been reduced to ashes long ago. He San was stunned, and his face also showed a touch of panic. However, it quickly turned into a ruthless look. He gritted his teeth and said, "Little brat, if you dare to hurt us, the Tianfeng sect will not let you go." "Is the Wind sect very powerful?" Lin Xian smiled. "Well, although our Tianfeng sect is not a top sect, but we are still a 5-star sect, we will not be taken advantage of." He San snorted. "A 5-star sect? Lin Xian was surprised. No wonder these people looked down on the disciples of four-star sects. It turned out that they were from five-star sects. The difference between a four-star sect and a five-star sect was huge. A five-star sect could completely crush dozens of four-star sects. There was an insurmountable gap between the two. However, Lin Xian was not afraid. Previously, when Venerable Qihua was ejected, it showed that no venerables were allowed to appear in this space. Therefore, he was not very worried. No matter how powerful these people were, they were at most in the spirit-detecting realm. Even if he could not defeat them, no one could stop him if he wanted to escape. Moreover, his goal this time was the Great Dragon Sword Soul. As long as he obtained the Great Dragon Sword, he would not be afraid of these people. Okay, tell me about the lost place and all the information you know. Lin Xian's expression suddenly became cold. Don't play tricks with me, or you know the consequences. After saying that, the black dragon flames suddenly erupted, emitting a terrifying heat that distorted the void. The four of them were terrified. They felt a sense of suffocation under the black dragon flames. The black dragon flames were too terrifying not to mention them. Even if a spirit-detecting realm martial artist came, they would be burned to ashes. You don't know? Are you not a native of the lost place? He San said in horror. Are you from another power? How did you come in? He was too shocked. The other party did not come from the same place as them, nor was he a native of the lost place. It was obvious that he came from another world. The lost place had always been controlled by their power, and no one from other places had ever been able to enter. Now that such a situation had occurred, how could the four of them not be shocked? Now, I am the one asking you. If you don't speak, I don't mind burning 3 of you to death. I believe that at that time, the last one should be able to tell me the information I want. Hearing this, the 4 of them trembled, and their eyes revealed a trace of fear. I'll speak, I'll speak, the oval-faced girl screamed. The lost place is controlled by the 3 great powers of the sky martial domain. It opens once every 10 years. Other than the disciples of the 3 great powers, no one else can enter. Speaking of this, the oval-faced girl looked at Lin Xian with even more surprise. She had never heard of anyone outside the 3 great powers being able to enter the lost place. Sky martial domain, the 3 great powers. Lin Xian touched his chin and continued to ask, "What are the sects? Tell me in detail." The 3 great powers that control the lost place are the Divine Bird Palace, the Divine Sword Villa, and the Embracing Moon Pavilion. These 3 great powers are all 6-star sects and can be said to be extremely powerful. In addition, there are more than 10 affiliated sects of the 3 great sections. Most of them are 5-star sects, and there are also some top 4-star sections. Hearing this, Lin Xian's face was calm, but his heart was fiercely shocked. The 3 great sects are all 6-star sections. There was no such sect in the Tianan region, and even Sun Zhe had to give way to them. Now, there were 3 of them, and one of them was his sworn enemy, the Divine Bird Palace. The gap between a 6-star sect and a 5-star sect was even greater, as if the gap between heaven and earth was insurmountable. There was no other reason other than the fact that 6-star sects had King Realm Masters. Above the Honorable Realm was the legendary King Realm. It was said that only those who reached the King Realm had the ability to pierce through heaven and earth. It was far from what an Honorable Realm Master could contend with. To put it bluntly, a King Realm Master could easily sweep through the entire Tianan region. Then Lin Xian became more and more shocked as he listened. According to the oval-faced girl, those who entered the lost place were the top geniuses of the sections. Warriors like them who were at the late and peak of the spirit transformation realm were just ordinary disciples. Some of the stronger disciples were, at least at the spirit detecting realm. Among them, the top disciples of the three great sects were even more powerful, and they were all at the late stage of the spirit-detecting realm. It was even rumored that some of the disciples of the three great sects had reached the half-step honorable realm. Half-step honorable realm, Lin Xian exclaimed. Chapter 499. These people were more powerful than he had imagined. There was even a half-step honorable martial artist. Then, the oval-faced girl explained, although there are great opportunities in the lost place, it is also accompanied by great risks. The three top forces will not send their most outstanding disciples here. Therefore, they were not very sure if there were any half-step honorable martial artists here. Lin Xian's heart sank. It seemed that the disciples who entered the lost place were all elites. Many of them were far more powerful than Ba Wuji and the other geniuses. These disciples were far more powerful than Lin Xian had expected. Lin Xian took a deep breath and continued to ask, "How much do you know about the lost place?" The lost place is an ancient battlefield. Legend has it that many extraordinary people are buried here. Some places can be said to be extremely dangerous, but there are also great benefits. Not only is the spiritual qi in the lost place many times more than the outside world, but there are also more resources here. Some things that can't be found in the outside world can be found here. If you are lucky, you might even find a lost supreme art inheritance. Hearing this, Lin Xian was enlightened. The lost place was equivalent to a treasure trove that was controlled by the three top six-star sects. All the disciples who entered the lost place were here to gain experience and find treasures. Lin Xian was most worried about whether the six-star sects knew about the existence of the great dragon sword. However, he could not ask directly. Therefore, he changed his question. When you entered the lost place, did the sect give any orders? For example, you have to find something? Hearing this, their faces changed, and they looked at Lin Xian in shock. Then, they looked puzzled. In the end, the oval-faced girl said, "Yes, it's not a secret. All the disciples who enter the lost place have a common mission besides looking for their own opportunities. That is to find the soul sword beast." Soul sword beasts? Lin Xian frowned. He seemed to have caught on to something. In detail, it was said that a sword principal expert had fallen in the ancient battlefield. Although he died, his sword soul was not destroyed. It mutated in the lost place and turned into a soul sword beast. These soul sword beasts are incomparably strong and have great talent. They can be said to be a unique existence. Not only that, it is said that the soul sword beast is extremely helpful to martial artists, especially for swordsmen. If they can get a soul sword beast and have it accompany them, it will be easier for them to comprehend sword essence and sword soul. Moreover, once the soul sword beast matures, it will be a terrifying existence. It's said that even kings fear them. Soul sword beast? So magical. Lin Xian was astonished. He felt that this soul sword beast might be closely related to the great dragon sword soul. Although he didn't know if there was really a powerful swordsman who had fallen here, he knew that the great dragon sword spirit of the world's offensive saint, Arts, was buried here. Therefore, no matter what, he wanted to find a soul sword beast to investigate. Where do these soul sword beasts usually live? How strong are they? Lin Xian asked. The four of them smiled bitterly. Soul sword beasts are extremely rare. The lost place has been opened so many times, but not many people have been able to bring them out. Therefore, not only us, but even the top geniuses of the three six-star sects don't know where they are. As for the strength of the soul sword beast, a young one is about the strength of a rank 9 monster beast, which is about the same as a spirit-detecting realm martial artist. We only know this much. We don't know anything else, the oval-faced girl said. Then the four of them looked nervously at Lin Xian, afraid that he would kill them. However, Lin Xian didn't kill them. Instead, he knocked them unconscious, put away the black dragon flames, and ran away. However, not long after Lin Xian left, the sound of something breaking through the air came from the stream. 7 or 8 figures landed nearby. The person in the lead was dressed in white. He was extremely handsome, and his body was filled with a violent aura. This person's strength had reached the spirit-detecting realm. As soon as these figures landed, they frowned. Several of them rushed to Heisan, and the others to wake them up. "Who attacked you? Is it the Holy Bird Palace?" the young man in white asked. "No, it's not the Holy Bird Palace. Senior Brother Bai, something big has happened. Someone from another sect has sneaked in." Then the 4 of them told the story of Lin Xian. Of course, they exaggerated a lot. After hearing this, the disciples of the Tianfeng sect all darkened their faces. "This guy is too arrogant. How dare he hurt you? Don't let me see him, or I'll teach him a lesson. Humph, he dares to offend the Tianfeng sect. Only death awaits him. This is too strange. How did he sneak in? Should we inform the others?" The young man in white pondered. "That young man's identity is indeed suspicious, but I'm worried if he has other accomplices. Forget it. Let's report this matter. But don't let me see him, or I'll kill him." The young man in white said coldly, "Let's go. We have to find the soul's word beast." Lin Xian was a little tired after running all the way. The lost land was bigger than he had imagined. He had walked for a long time, but he still hadn't walked out of the forest. It didn't look like an independent space at all. It was more like a real continent. In the end, he decided to stop running. Instead, he checked the situation and cultivated. Sitting cross-legged on a huge tree trunk, Lin Xian practiced the longevity incantation. Streams of rich spirit qi spiraled down from the sky and entered his body. All the spiritual qi that entered his body was guided by the longevity incantation to every part of his body. Finally, it gathered in the spiritual sea in his dantian. The art of long life was very mysterious. His cultivation efficiency was very high. Lin Xian estimated that the art of long life was at least an earth-ranked martial arts technique. Otherwise, it wouldn't be so efficient. The night passed silently. On the second day, Lin Xian opened his eyes. His aura was a little stronger. The spiritual qi here was too rich. 1 day of cultivation here was equivalent to 10 days in the outside world. If he could cultivate here for 3 to 5 years, he would definitely be ahead of the geniuses in the outside world. However, he knew that it was impossible. This independent space had a time limit. Once the time was up, they would be forcefully teleported out. Lin Xian jumped and shuttled between the tree trunks like a monkey. Buzz. He didn't walk for long. Suddenly, there was a sound in the forest in front of him. Then countless birds and beasts roared uneasily. A flock of demonic birds flew into the sky and fled the area. Lin Xian stopped and looked ahead cautiously. With his eyesight, he could see a shadow in front of him descending quickly. It was very fast, like lightning. The figure landed on the ground and turned to look at Lin Xian. Lin Xian trembled under the gaze. He felt like he was being stared at by a demon. Chapter 500. In front of him was a man dressed in purple. Even his hair was purple. His fair skin was even more tender than a young girl's, and his handsome face had an evil smile. Although this young man did not have a strong aura, Lin Xian could clearly feel that this person's cultivation was definitely above the spirit-detecting realm. He did not have the true dragon qi to use now, so he could not easily defeat a spirit-detecting realm martial artist. Therefore, he did not act rashly but looked ahead cautiously. Soon, the sound of something breaking through the air came from the sky again. A ghostly figure floated down and stopped beside the young man. This time, it was a woman. She wore a short blue skirt, and her blood-white thighs were exposed. This woman's figure was even more explosive. She had a slender waist and long legs. Her chest was so full that it looked like it was going to burst out of her clothes. Her face was even more charming to the extreme, with waves rolling around it, making people go crazy. The woman landed and patted her chest with her jade-like hands. She said, "You scared me to death. That giant mountain ape is really violent." An angry roar came from afar, spreading in all directions like a wave. Lin Xian was so far away, but he could still feel the killing intent in the roar. There was no need to guess. The roar was definitely related to these two people. At this moment, the charming woman also looked at Lin Xian. "Senior brother, who is he?" The purple-haired man shook his head. His eyes were cold as he asked in a deep voice, "Kid, which sect are you from?" Lin Xian could feel the killing intent hidden deep in the purple-haired man's heart. He frowned slightly, then he slowly said, "Tianfeng's sect." He did not want others to know that he came from outside the realm, so he could only make up a sect. "Oh, you are actually from the Tianfeng sect." The purple-haired man's killing intent disappeared, and he laughed. "We are disciples of the Moon Embracing Pavilion. Speaking of which, the Tianfeng sect is also our subsidiary sect." Moon Embracing Pavilion. Lin Xian's heart jumped. The other party was actually a disciple of a six-star sect. No wonder he was so strong. What surprised him even more was that the Tianfeng sect was actually a subsidiary sect of the Moon Embracing Pavilion. Helplessly, he could only continue with the lie. "Greetings, senior brother and senior sister." Lin Xian cupped his hands. "Why are you here? Isn't this a group operation?" The purple-haired man asked. "There was a beast tied just now, so I got separated from my fellow apprentices," Lin Xian said. The purple-haired man nodded without any doubt. Then he said in a deep voice, "Here's some food. Go wash it and barbecue it." He gave a bunch of orders, completely treating Lin Xian as a subordinate. Lin Xian did not decline and began to clean up the corpses of the demonic beasts that the purple-haired man had thrown out. However, he sneered in his heart. The other party had completely regarded him as a mid-stage spirit transformation realm cultivator. This was good too. He could hide his strength. While Lin Xian was busy, the flirtatious lady asked, "Senior brother, he is obviously not a disciple of Tianfeng's sect. Why don't you kill him?" The beautiful woman's eyes flashed with killing intent. It turned out that Tianfeng's sect was not a subordinate sect of the Moon Embracing Pavilion. The two of them had already discovered Lin Xian's weakness, but they did not expose it. No rush. He is just a mid-stage spirit transformation realm brat. How much can he do? Didn't we have no way to deal with the giant mountain ape? We can use him as bait. The two of them communicated with their souls, and then a cold smile appeared on their faces. There were many types of soul communication. One type was extremely secretive, and ordinary people would not be able to detect it. However, the two of them were extremely disdainful of Lin Xian's cultivation base. Thus, they used the simplest method of soul communication. Add the fact that Lin Xian's soul power was formidable, he was able to easily capture the soul fluctuations. Then he snorted in his heart, and a trace of killing intent appeared in his eyes. Soon, a fire was set up, and 3 large demonic beasts were placed on the fire and quickly barbecued. Soon, the fragrance of meat wafted out. Then, the two of them enjoyed the food with satisfaction, and even ordered Brother Xian to cut the meat and pour the wine. During the conversation, Lin Xian found out that the purple-haired youth was called Su Qing, and his cultivation was at the early stage of the spirit-detecting realm. The beautiful woman was called Wang Qi, and her cultivation was at the peak of the spirit transformation realm. Both of them were disciples of the Moon Embracing Pavilion, and their status was respected. At this moment, the purple-haired man, Su Qing, played with the wine cup in his hand and ordered Lin Xian, "Rest today and leave with us tomorrow." "What's the matter?" Lin Xian asked. "There's no harm in telling you. This is a great opportunity for you. We found a 3,000-year-old blood sunflower. Originally, this credit belonged to us, but you served us today, so it counts as a contribution. So tomorrow, we will bring you along to pick the blood sunflower. When the time comes, you will have a large contribution to the sect." The purple-haired man, Su Qing, was very generous. If one didn't know, they would be grateful to him. However, Lin Xian had already felt their killing intent, so he naturally didn't believe their words. However, in order to put on an act, he still pretended to be very excited. "It seems like the 3,000-year-old blood-eye flower is real, but it will be quite troublesome." Lin Xian walked to the side and sat down cross-legged as he thought. Lin Xian quickly guessed the situation after hearing the angry roars during the day and hearing the two's conversation. The 3,000-year-old blood sunflower was definitely being guarded by a powerful giant mountain ape. The two of them couldn't capture the giant mountain ape, so they wanted to use Lin Xian as bait. A 3,000-year-old blood sunflower is indeed a precious spiritual medicine. Lin Xian was tempted. It had to be known that there were very few spiritual medicines that were over 1,000 years old in the outside world, but there was a 3,000-year-old blood sunflower here. If it was taken out, even a supremacy would go crazy. Lin Xian separated a strand of his soul to guard it. Then he quickly entered a state of cultivation. The spiritual energy in the lost place was very dense, and he wouldn't waste it. Not far away, Su Qing and Wang Qi also sat down cross-legged to cultivate after eating. The next day, when the sun had just risen, the three of them began their journey. The three of them passed through layers of trees and walked into the depths of the forest. The deeper they went, the thicker the trees became. The trees were 100 meters tall, and their leaves were as big as millstones covering the sky and the sun. Along the way, Lin Xian saw many bones lying on the ground. The bones were of different sizes, with the longest being more than 10 meters long, and the smallest being 2 to 3 meters long. Obviously, these were all monsters that had been hunted. This scene further illustrated the dangers of the primeval forest. If one was careless, they would become a pile of bones. As they went deeper, the bones became more numerous, and the air gradually became heavier, making it difficult for them to breathe. There was also some visible purplish-black energy in the air, floating everywhere. Lin Xian knew that it was demonic energy. Only extremely powerful demonic beasts could form such a terrifying demonic aura. Obviously, there was a terrifying monster in front of them. Chapter 501. Soon, the surroundings became abnormally quiet. Along the way, Lin Xian could often hear the roars of tigers and the cries of apes. However, it was completely silent here, as if those beasts had all disappeared. Even Su Qing and Wang Qi's expressions were extremely serious. They had even concealed their auras. Lin Xian followed behind, and also concealed his aura. Wang Qi was a little surprised by his actions. Wang Qi sent a voice transmission. "This kid is more quick-witted than I thought. Is there really no problem with this?" "No problem," Su Qing sneered, and also sent a voice transmission. "This kid is probably hiding his strength. I estimate his strength to be at the late stage of the spirit transformation realm. This kind of strength won't be able to do anything to us." Su Qing was very confident. Both of them were disciples of six-star sects and had the strength to fight above their cultivation level. Not to mention him, even his junior sister Wang Qi, who was at the peak of the spirit transformation realm, could fight against an ordinary spirit-detecting realm cultivator in a real battle. Therefore, the two of them believed that even if Lin Xian was hiding his cultivation level, he wouldn't be able to withstand a single blow. The three of them continued to walk. Half a day later, They arrived before a mountain. The mountain was at least 1,000 meters tall and was surrounded by giant trees and vines. There was a cave entrance dozens of meters tall in the mountain. A dense and eerie aura came from within. Lin Xian and the other two stood 5,000 meters away from the cave entrance and quietly looked over. About 100 meters away from the cave entrance, there was a blood-colored flower blooming with a scarlet light. Lin Xian looked over. He knew that it was a 3,000-year-old snow sunflower. Junior brother Lin, do you see that heart-like flower on the west side of the cave entrance? The purple-haired man smiled and said, You can bring that flower here later. We'll escort you. Lin Xian looked up. Sure enough, there was a red spirit flower about 30 meters to the west of the cave. However, it wasn't the blood sunflower. If it was an ordinary person, they might have been fooled. However, Lin Xian had learned about herbs from a peerless expert like Lord Alcohol. It was impossible for him to be fooled. It seems like these two really are using me as bait. Lin Xian sneered in his heart, but he still looked very excited. Seeing Lin Xian's expression, the two of them sneered in their hearts. What an idiot! After the ecstasy, Lin Xian's face revealed a troubled expression. Judging from the demonic aura in the surroundings, there should be some terrifying demonic beasts, right? He asked worriedly. Don't worry, we're here. We definitely won't let you get hurt. Su Qing patted Lin Xian's shoulder. Then his face darkened. What? Don't you believe me? Or are you unwilling to work for the Moon Pavilion? At the end of his speech, his eyes gradually became sharp, and his body carried a strong, murderous aura. All right. Lin Xian nodded, pretending to be very scared. Don't worry, I won't let you get hurt. As long as you pick the blood sunflower, I will report it to the sect and give you a great merit. Su Qing smiled again. In the end, Lin Xian moved and ran toward the west side of the cave. He didn't show too much speed, but he displayed the speed of a cultivator at the middle stage of the spirit transformation realm. However, that was still very fast. Soon, he arrived at the entrance of the cave. Along the way, he quietly let out the little white monkey. However, he didn't let the little white monkey attack immediately. Instead, he had it hide in the dark. If he attacked now, although he would get the blood sunflower, he would be hunted down by Su Qing, Wang Qi, and the giant mountain ape. With Lin Xian's current cultivation, there was no way he could fight against so many people. After summoning the little white monkey, Xian quickly arrived at the west side of the cave. The next moment, an angry roar came from the cave. It was like a thunderclap that caused the entire sky to tremble. The ground trembled, and a gust of wind swept by. A black figure the size of a small mountain quickly rushed over, carrying with it endless demonic aura. Giant mountain ape. In the distance, Su Qing and Wang Qi saw this scene and quickly rushed toward the real blood sunflower. As long as the two of them got the blood sunflower, they would immediately leave. They didn't care about Lin Xian's life or death. However, although the two of them were fast, they were still one step too slow. A white figure flashed and instantly picked the 3,000-year-old blood sunflower. Wuji, the little white monkey, hugged the blood sunflower and was very excited. Its eyes were filled with disdain. Damn it, where did this monkey come from? Su Qing was furious. Wang Qi also shouted. He quickly waved his hand and sent out a terrifying palm shadow toward the little white monkey. However, the little white monkey was extremely fast. It was far faster than he imagined. With a shake, it dodged all the attacks. After dodging the attacks, it still stood there with a mocking expression on its face. The giant mountain ape immediately went berserk when it saw the blood sunflower being picked. It no longer paid any attention to Lin Xian. Instead, it rushed towards Su Qing and the other man. What should we do, Master? Wang Qi was worried. Quickly, snatch it! Su Qing clenched his teeth and said. A powerful aura burst out from his body and shrouded the surroundings. He didn't believe that he and his junior sister couldn't catch a little monkey. What made him angry was that when did this damn monkey appear? It wasn't here the last time. Could it be him? Su Qing immediately thought of Lin Xian, but he quickly dismissed that thought. Lin Xian was only at the middle stage of the spirit transformation realm. How could he have such a fast little monkey? Let's snatch it first. Instead of letting his mind wander, he quickly made his move. Terrifying attacks enveloped the surroundings. In an instant, the entire area was covered by a terrifying aura. Seeing the three of them fighting over the blood sunflower, the giant mountain ape was even more furious. It roared at the sky and rushed over. In the mountains, a tall figure was running like a small mountain. The figure was abnormally tall. It was dozens of meters tall and had brown skin that was as sturdy as a rock. Its body was covered with a layer of demonic aura. It was very terrifying. Lin Xian also used his maximum speed to follow behind the giant mountain ape. He was like a ghost, not making a sound. Whoosh! The little white monkey hugged the blood sunflower and rushed towards Su Qing before disappearing. What's going on? Su Qing was startled. He quickly scanned the surroundings, but he still couldn't find the little white monkey. Just then, a shadow shrouded him. The giant mountain ape had already arrived in front of him. Its terrifying palm carried a violent demonic aura as it smashed down. Boom! A terrifying crater appeared on the ground as Su Qing retreated in a sorry state. In the next period of time, the giant mountain ape attacked Su Qing like a madman. Damn it, what's going on? Why is it always attacking me? Su Qing was furious. He clearly didn't get the blood sunflower, but the giant mountain ape was staring at him like a madman. Senior brother, what should we do? Wang Qi called out in the distance. Damn it! Hurry up and find that monkey! Su Qing roared. He wanted to retreat, but he was unwilling to give up. The blood sunflower had already been taken. If he gave up now, he wouldn't have another chance. With his strength, he could still contend with the giant mountain ape for a while. As long as Wang Qi found the little monkey and captured it, he would be able to get the blood sunflower. Thinking of this, he began to move. Chapter 5:02. Seeing Su Qing provoke him, the giant mountain ape became even angrier. It let out an angry roar, and the sound waves turned into fierce attacks that spread out in all directions. The sound waves combined with the demonic aura formed a terrifying attack that made people feel dizzy. Not good. Su Qing was too close and was hit by the attack. His face was pale as he quickly put up a defense and retreated. Just at this moment, a ray of sword energy came slashing down. The terrifying sword energy was mixed with black flames. The sword energy fell, and the black dragon flames instantly cut through Su Qing's defense. Puff! A half-foot-long sword mark appeared on his left rib and split half of his body. Scarlet blood splattered everywhere, and his organs and intestines spilled out. Su Qing let out a miserable scream and was sent flying. He suddenly turned around and stared fiercely at Lin Xian. Brat, it's you? Su Qing exclaimed. If he still didn't know that this was all Lin Xian's plan, then he didn't need to live anymore. So, what if it's me? If you didn't want me to die, I wouldn't have ended up like this. Lin Xian sneered and charged over with his sword. I hate you. Su Qing roared at the sky as his spirit force burned. He didn't expect a brat that was considered an ant to be able to counterattack so fiercely and almost kill him. If he had known this would happen, he would have killed Lin Xian earlier. It was too late to say anything now. The only thing he wanted to do was kill Lin Xian. However, Before he could react, the giant mountain ape slammed down again. The air was instantly compressed, and Su Qing let out an angry roar. This giant mountain ape was too despicable. Lin Xian was right beside him, but the giant mountain ape didn't seem to see him and only attacked him. "Junior sister, help me!" Su Qing shouted. Hearing this, Wang Qi quickly waved her hand and formed a series of palm shadows that rushed toward Lin Xian. She was so shocked that she couldn't even control her direction properly. There was no way around it. Lin Xian was too different from before. He was actually able to injure her senior brother with one sword strike. It had to be said that Lin Xian was only at the mid-stage of the spirit transformation realm, while her senior brother was a spirit-detecting realm cultivator. The difference between the two could be said to be the difference between heaven and earth. Lin Xian snorted coldly and slashed out with his sword, sending Wang Qi flying. In the next moment, he attacked Su Qing again. Under the attacks of Lin Xian and the giant mountain ape, Su Qing was forced to retreat. He angrily roared and prepared to escape. At this moment, a white light flashed, followed by a cold gleam, instantly cutting off his right leg. That cold light appeared too suddenly, as if it had pierced through his body. Su Qing had no time to defend himself. In an instant, he felt a heart-wrenching pain. Then his body tilted and fell to the side. A white light flashed, and the snow-white fox appeared. Ta was holding the dagger and jumping around. The next moment, it disappeared again. This time, Su Qing finally saw it clearly. That snow-white little monkey actually tunneled into his storage ring. No wonder the little snow-white monkey could suddenly disappear without anyone noticing. So it had tunneled into his storage ring. This place was very secretive, and there was no way he would pay attention to it. And it was this mistake that had almost cost her life. He found out now, but it was already too late. A sword, light, flashed like lightning, instantly cutting off his arm. The arm with the storage ring flew into the sky. No. Su Qing roared angrily, and then he was swallowed by the giant black palm. A spirit-detecting realm martial artist was smashed into meat paste by the giant mountain ape. Seeing this, Wang Qi was dumbfounded. Her face was pale, and she could no longer care about anything else as she fled into the distance. A white light flashed, and the little snow-white monkey appeared. It took off the storage ring, turned into a rainbow light, and flew into the distance. Lin Xian followed Wang Qi. Since he had already fallen out with her, he would not let her go so easily. The giant mountain ape roared angrily and chased after the little snow-white monkey. On the other hand, Lin Xian used the illusory demonic steps to block Wang Qi's path. Wang Qi was like a frightened rabbit, and she was so scared that she fell to the ground. Her face was pale, and her expression was filled with panic. "Don't kill me! Don't kill me!" She kept repeating, "I have no intention of harming you. It's all Su Qing's fault. He wants to harm you. He's a spirit-detecting realm martial artist, so I have to listen to him. I really don't want to harm you." Wang Qi tried her best to explain, and poured all the dirty water on Su Qing. However, Lin Xian's expression was cold, and he was still unmoved. Seeing that her words had no effect, Wang Qi clenched her fists and bit her lips. Her eyes suddenly revealed a seductive look. "As long as you promise not to kill me, I can agree to any of your requests." She deliberately emphasized the word and even made a seductive gesture. With a wave of her hand, Wang Qi removed the emerald green skirt, and then she let out an extremely seductive voice. She was like a little wild cat quickly crawling toward Lin Xian. Pooh! Sword light flashed, and blood sprayed into the sky. Lin Xian put away his sword and suddenly turned around. Wang Qi's eyes widened, and she fell down powerlessly. Even in death, she couldn't believe that someone could ignore her beauty and decisively attack her. To be honest, Lin Xian had no interest in a woman like Wang Qi. As long as it was his enemy, he would not show mercy. After dealing with Wang Qi, Lin Xian took her storage ring and quickly left. Not long after, he met up with the blood-white monkey. Holding the 3,000-year-old blood sunflower, Lin Xian revealed a satisfied smile. If he was lucky, this blood sunflower might be able to help him break through to the late stage of the spirit transformation realm. At that time, his strength would increase greatly, and his survival ability in the Lost Lands would also increase greatly. Although today's battle had been fast, Lin Xian might not have been able to kill a spirit-detecting realm martial artist like Su Qing under normal circumstances. After all, Su Qing was also a disciple of a top sect and must have many trump cards. Fortunately, he had the help of the giant mountain ape, and he had launched a sneak attack, so he was able to succeed. With so many geniuses appearing, it seemed that he had to quickly increase his strength. Lin Xian found a safe place and began to devour the blood sunflower. A ball of red light entered his stomach, and the next moment he felt as if his entire body was about to burn. An unusually large amount of energy rushed through his body. The 3,000-year-old blood sunflower contained an extremely large amount of spirit qi, and its effects were better than any of the spirit pills he had consumed before. Soon, his body was covered by a ball of red light that was like a red flame. Under the guidance of the art of longevity, this large amount of energy quickly moved through his body. His strength was also increasing rapidly. Half a day later, the fiery red light gradually disappeared and returned to normal. Lin Xian opened his eyes and revealed a trace of a smile. His cultivation had finally broken through to the late stage of the spirit transformation realm. If the current him were to fight against someone like Su Qing, even if he didn't launch a sneak attack, he was confident that he would be able to kill him fair and square. After tasting the sweetness of the blood sunflower, Lin Xian decided to temporarily change his plan. Chapter 503. According to the information he obtained, the Lost Lands could be open for half a year. When he came in, it had just opened, so there was still plenty of time. He planned to increase his strength first, so that when it was time to seize the great dragon sword, he would have a greater chance. Just as Lin Xian was increasing his strength, in another part of the Lost Lands, a woman in purple suddenly stopped. She waved her hand, and dozens of jade tokens appeared in front of her. 2 of them were broken in the middle and became dim. There were 5 or 6 people around the woman in purple. When they saw this scene, they were shocked. This is impossible. Su Qing and Wang Qi are dead. Who killed them? Could it be the Divine Bird Palace? I don't know, but to dare to kill our Moon Pavilion people, other than the Divine Bird Palace and the Deity Sword Villa, no one else has the courage. Investigate. We must find out and bring the murderer back. The woman in purple's face was cold. Those who dared to kill the Moon Pavilion disciples must pay the price in blood. She was angry. Their Moon Pavilion was a 6-star sect, and they were extremely powerful. No one dared to provoke them. Even the Divine Bird Palace and the Deity Sword Villa would not kill them, so this matter was very strange. The few of them moved quickly and soon found the place where Su Qing and Wang Qi were killed. Su Qing had been turned into a pile of meat, and the wounds could not be seen. However, from Wang Qi's wounds, the murderer should be a swordsman, and he was very powerful. Could it be someone from the Deity Sword Villa? I don't know, but it seems that Wang Qi did not succeed when he was alive. The murderer should be a ruthless person. Collect the aura nearby, the leading woman in purple said. Next to her, a woman in black nodded, and then she summoned a spotted bird from her storage bag. The palm-sized spotted bird wandered around, as if it was sensing something. Not long after, it let out a chirp, and then its wings flapped, pointing in a direction. Found it, the woman in black said. The three of you go and catch the murderer. Remember, you can only succeed, not fail. The woman in purple said coldly, Don't worry, Senior Sister Yu. We will definitely bring the murderer here. The woman in black and the other two young men moved quickly and followed the petal bird into the distance. In the cave, Lin Xian did not leave immediately after he finished increasing his cultivation. He wanted to consolidate his strength. During this period of time, his cultivation had increased very quickly, and he had mastered many unique skills and trump cards. However, sometimes it was not a good thing to be too fast. He needed to properly accumulate these things. First was the black dragon flame. If he wanted to comprehend the concept of fire, he still needed to work on the black dragon flame. Moreover, his current method of using the black dragon flames was too monotonous. He simply hadn't been able to fully utilize its might. Fortunately, they had an experienced expert like Lord Alcohol with them. Lin Xian quickly learned all kinds of fire techniques from Lord Alcohol. Then he sat down cross-legged and flicked his fingers. Balls of black flames appeared at his fingertips. Following his thoughts, the flames kept changing their forms. In the end, the black dragon flame continued to dance, forming a small black dragon that swam between his palms. Immediately, the temperature in the cave rose abruptly. The fire attribute spiritual chi in the air also vibrated nonstop, resonating with it. It was as if it could manipulate the fire elemental spiritual energy at will. This feeling was very mysterious. It had already exceeded the control of a spirit transformation realm warrior and reached the level of a spirit detecting realm warrior. A harmonious spirit realm warrior could only use the basics of spiritual energy. At the spirit transformation realm, they could merge with the heaven and earth spiritual chi and transform it into multiple attacks. However, at the spirit detecting realm, they could only use a single type of spiritual energy. For example, a fire attribute warrior could use only the fire attribute spiritual chi without affecting the other types of spiritual energy. This would make the power of their moves even greater. Lin Xian did not expect that he would be able to reach this realm in advance. Then he worked even harder to cultivate the black dragon flame, striving to comprehend the concept of fire as soon as possible. Finally, he comprehended the divine sword visualization diagram. After seeing the great success sword intent, Lin Xian had a desire in his heart. If he could reach the great success sword intent, his strength would take a qualitative leap. However, it was not that easy to reach the great success sword intent. He needed to study it carefully. Although the divine sword visualization diagram was simple, it was extremely profound. Lin Xian had a new understanding every time he studied it. 3 days later, Lin Xian withdrew his soul and opened his eyes. His strength and cultivation had basically stabilized and would not change. It would not be effective to continue meditating like this. What he needed now was some actual combat experience. Without any delay, Lin Xian immediately left the cave and ran towards the depths of the forest. Not long after he left, 3 figures landed outside the cave. No one. Looks like he's gone. A young man said after investigating, "Humph, he's lucky, but he won't be able to escape from us." The girl in black snorted. Then she urged the spotted bird again and continued to track. The 3 moved quickly and disappeared in front of the cave again. Lin Xian ran all the way. With the help of the little white monkey's treasure ball, he began to search for spiritual herbs. However, not long after, he sensed 3 powerful auras coming from behind him. Swoosh! He used the phantom demon steps and left an afterimage on the spot, quickly hiding. At this moment, the sound of something breaking through the air came from behind. 3 figures were quickly approaching. At the front was the girl in the black dress, and a spotted bird was circling around her head. On the left was a strong young man. He wore a sleeveless shirt with a blue starlight pattern on his arm. The young man on the right had red eyes and two short knives at his waist. His expression was fierce. The two young men were at the spirit detecting realm, and the girl in the middle was at the peak of the spirit transformation realm. The three of them together formed a terrifying aura. Lin Xian looked over. He found the same mark pattern as Su Qing on the three of them. People from the moon's seizing pavilion. They actually found me so quickly. Lin Xian's pupils shrank. Then he quickly left, using his speed to the limit. The three people in front of him had powerful auras, especially the two young men. They were much stronger than Su Qing. Humph, you want to run? The girl in black controlled the spotted bird and quickly chased after them. Beside her, the two young men revealed cruel smiles. It's actually trash at the late stage of the spirit transformation realm. To dare kill a moon-seizing sect disciple with such a cultivation, they must have used some underhanded method. The short-haired, red-eyed young man coldly snorted. The three of them were very fast and instantly closed in on Lin Xian. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. A ray of blue starlight fell from the sky and enveloped Lin Xian. Suddenly, a curtain of light lit up and covered the surroundings like a cage. Brat, you killed my moon-seizing pavilion's people, and you still want to run? First I'll cripple your legs, and then bring you back for punishment. The strong man strode over, emitting a terrifying aura. At this moment, the figure in the cage suddenly dimmed and finally disappeared. An afterimage? Not good, the girl in black exclaimed. Chapter 504. The short-haired, red-eyed youth frowned and quickly pulled out the two blades at his waist. Whoosh! A ray of sword light flashed past, and the sharp sword Qi slaughtered, cutting the spotted bird above into two halves. No, I'm going to kill you, the young girl said angrily. However, before the three of them could react, four terrifying sword energies fell from the sky. Black flame fire dragon sword. The giant sword energy burned with black flames and quickly fell from the sky. Everywhere it passed, the void twisted and ignited, and the faint roar of a dragon could be heard. In an instant, the three disciples of the moon embracing pavilion were surrounded by a sea of fire and terrifying sword energy. A violent energy flow formed within 100-meter radius. Bang! The three figures flew out in a sorry state, and their bodies were charred black. The clothes of the young girl in the black dress were torn, revealing most of her snow-white skin. There was a trace of blood at the corner of her mouth. However, she was completely unaware and stared at Lin Xian with vicious eyes. Brat, I'm going to cut off all your limbs and make you wish you were dead. The other two youths' faces were also dark. They were powerful spirit-detecting realm cultivators, but they were defeated by a late-stage spirit transformation realm brat. If this spread out, they would have no face to live. Lin Xian floated down, but there was a hint of surprise in his eyes. These three people were more difficult to deal with than he had imagined, even with the violent black dragon sword. It only injured the three of them a little. He originally thought he could kill two of them. It seemed like the disciples of the moon embracing pavilion were indeed not ordinary. Damn brat, you dare to use underhanded methods. I'm going to kill you, the burly man roared. No wonder Su Qing and Wang Qi were killed by you. You are indeed sinister. The short-haired, red-eyed youth was filled with killing intent. Underhanded methods? Lin Xian sneered. Can I make a move and have to wait for the three of you to kill me? Your head must have been kicked by a donkey. You're courting death. The three of them were filled with killing intent, forming a terrifying aura that pressed down on Lin Xian. Brat, no matter what tricks you play, you won't be able to escape death. The short-haired, red-eyed youth sneered. The two blades in his hand quickly spun, forming a terrifying blade energy in the sky. The blue starlight pattern on the man's arm flashed, forming a huge starlight pattern in the sky. Lin Xian's heart grew heavy as he was covered by the star diagrams. Truthfully speaking, the strength of these two people was above Su Qing. Moreover, if the three of them worked together, they would most likely be able to unleash their combat prowess to the maximum. However, Lin Xian was still not afraid. He had just broken through and needed a big battle to test his strength. Let me see what qualifications you disciples of six-star sects have to be so arrogant. Lin Xian gripped the wind shadow sword with his right hand, his sharp sword intent ready to be unleashed. Die. The short-haired, red-eyed man waved his arms and quickly swung his two red blades. Two scarlet saber lights appeared in the sky, emitting a sonorous sound that could shake one's soul. Bang, bang, bang. The air exploded as the blood-red saber light slashed down like a blood-red river, bringing with it a baleful aura as it slashed towards Lin Xian. Before the blood-red blade aura even got close, Lin Xian could feel the blood in his body churning, as if it was about to burst out of his body. What a strange blade aura. It seems to be able to devour a person's blood essence. Lin Xian was shocked. He used the great dragon sword intent and quickly cut off the connection between the two. Then, with a tap of his foot, he formed an afterimage on the spot and dodged to the side. The long blade slashed down, destroying the afterimage left by Lin Xian. Moreover, it spread open the ground, forming a terrifying trench. What was even more terrifying was that the flowers and trees on both sides of the trench quickly withered and lost their vitality. What a terrifying blade aura. It actually has a destructive aura. Lin Xian was shocked. The short-haired, red-eyed man's blade aura was too strange. It should be related to his blade intent. Perhaps even a spirit-detecting realm martial artist of the same level would not dare to take this attack head-on. As expected of a disciple of a six-star sect, this kind of strength had already surpassed the peerless geniuses of the Tiannan region. It was only because he had an Earth-class movement technique that he could dodge. Otherwise, if it was someone else, they would have been sucked dry by the blade aura. Whoosh. Lin Xian pulled out the wind shadow sword and quickly used the wind and thunder sword drawing technique. On the blade, wind and thunder sword aura filled the air and slashed towards the short-haired, red-eyed man. The short-haired, red-eyed man sneered and waved his two blades, slashing out two blood-red blade auras again. The sword auras and blade auras clashed, forming a terrifying aura. The wind howled and thunder surged. The power of wind and thunder was violent, quickly tearing apart the blood-red blade auras. The blood-red blade auras flashed with a strange red light, absorbing the energy of the wind and thunder sword auras. Seeing the strange blade auras, Lin Xian sneered in his heart. Destroy! The great dragon sword intent of 80% fire monkey suddenly erupted, and a sharp aura enveloped the surroundings. The great dragon sword intent was an offensive saint art that could destroy everything. It was also the nemesis of this kind of evil power. In an instant, a terrifying crack appeared on the blood-red blade auras. The wind and thunder sword auras found an opening and quickly tore apart the blood-red blade auras. Boom, boom. There was a violent explosion. The two blood-red blade auras in the sky split apart and scattered on the ground like glass shards. What? He can actually break my blood-sucking blade intent? The short-haired, red-eyed man was slightly stunned, and then his expression became abnormally cold. He was horrified and shouted loudly, "This kid is very strange. Attack together. Don't let him escape." Hearing this, the girl in the black dress and the strong man were both shocked. The short-haired, red-eyed young man was known as the Blood Demon Swordsman. His blood-sucking blade intent was extremely terrifying. However, such a terrifying person couldn't take down a kid at the late stage of the spirit transformation realm. This made the two of them feel like they were dreaming. Humph, no matter how strange you are, I won't let you escape. The strong man's arm shook, and the blue star orb in the sky shone brightly, one after another. Huge meteorites appeared from the blue star orb and quickly fell. Boom, boom, boom. The huge meteorites burned, and the blue aura cut through the void and smashed down like mountains. That aura made Lin Xian's body stiffen, and he felt like he was being crushed. This blue star orb could simulate the scene of meteorites falling from the sky. It was indeed shocking. Although they were not real meteorites, their power was no weaker than real ones. If they were hit, it would be difficult for a spirit-detecting realm martial artist to escape. At the critical moment, Lin Xian used the illusory demon steps, leaving behind countless afterimages in the air. His speed was so fast that people couldn't tell which one was real and which one was fake. Lin Xian didn't choose to fight head-on. After all, the other party was a spirit-detecting realm martial artist and had the ability to challenge those at a higher level. He could only dodge and attack them one by one. The strength displayed by the two young men was freakish. So Lin Xian set his sights on the young girl. It seemed that the girl was good at tracking and hadn't shown any other strength. However, Lin Xian didn't dare to be careless. He swung his sword with all his strength. Wind Thunder Cut. The power of wind and thunder fused, forming a terrifying sword chi that slashed toward the girl in the black dress. The girl in the black dress sneered, took out an animal skin bag, and shook it quickly. Buzz, buzz. Dense black shadows flew out of the animal skin bag and quickly flew toward Lin Xian. Everywhere they passed, the void trembled. Chapter 505. Lin Xian used his eye technique and found that they were all fingernail-sized bugs. These insects flew onto the wind and lightning sword chi and quickly gnawed on it. Soon, the wind and lightning sword chi was completely destroyed. What kind of bugs are these? They can actually gnaw away sword energy? Lin Xian was shocked and quickly retreated. At this moment, the robust man and the short-haired, red-eyed youth attacked again. Lin Xian patted his storage belt and summoned the Snow-White Monkey and Little Gold to fight against the strange bugs in the sky. He fought against the robust man and the short-haired, red-eyed youth. Seeing Lin Xian summon two demonic beasts, the black-dressed girl sneered disdainfully. "You dare to fight against my gold-devouring bugs? Just wait for your death." With that, he waved his arm and controlled the bugs in the sky to attack the Snow-White Monkey and Little Gold. The Snow-White Monkey stood on Little Gold's head and kept jumping. When Little Gold saw the bugs in the sky, it squawked excitedly. It opened its mouth, and with a flash of golden light, it swallowed a small group of bugs into its body. "You're courting death. You dare to eat the gold-devouring bugs." The black-dressed girl sneered. However, after a while, Little Gold still didn't show any abnormalities. "Impossible! The gold-devouring bugs are invulnerable to swords and water and fire. How could they be digested?" The black-dressed girl couldn't believe it. In the end, her face became gloomy and terrifying because she was sure that the other party had indeed swallowed her gold-devouring bugs. What kind of monster is this frog? She felt a trace of fear in her heart. In the past, once she used the gold-devouring bugs, even spirit-detecting realm martial artists could only run away. But she didn't expect that her ultimate move would fail this time. The Snow-White Monkey jumped, and only Little Gold ran toward the black-dressed girl. On the side, Lin Xian used his movement technique to fight against the two. The robust man and the short-haired, red-eyed youth became angrier as they fought. They had strength but couldn't use it at all. Because they couldn't keep up with Lin Xian's speed, they still couldn't hurt Lin Xian. There was no other way. Lin Xian was too fast, comparable to a late-stage spirit-detecting realm martial artist. It was far from what the two of them could contend with. Ah, despicable brat, if you have the guts, don't run. Let's fight face to face. The two of them roared madly. This feeling was too stifling. Lin Xian sneered, but he was thinking in his heart. That short-haired youth has the blood-sucking blade intent, which can be broken by the devouring sword. As for that robust man's blue star pattern, it can be broken by the black dragon flame. After wandering around for such a long time, he had already figured out the strength of the two. Therefore, it was time to counterattack. Why can't we have a head-on battle? Lin Xian stopped and laughed heartily. A mere spirit transformation realm cultivator dares to be so presumptuous? You're courting death. Now that you've lost your speed, I'll kill you in one move. The short-haired, red-eyed man brandished his twin blades, forming a huge, cross-shaped blood-colored blade aura. The strong man fused with the blue starlight pattern in the sky, and his body grew taller out of thin air, forming a blue giant. He stomped his foot, causing the ground to crack. Countless blue lights flashed and flew out from the ground like waves. Lin Xian soared into the sky and flew with the wind. A pitch-black long sword appeared above his head. There were vortex-like patterns on it, and at first glance, it looked like a black hole. Devouring sword, a pitch-black sword, emitting an endless vortex, floated above Lin Xian's head. The appearance of the devouring sword caused the surrounding space to tremble. It was as if an endless black hole was constantly floating. Anything that got close to the black vortex would be devoured. This was the first time Lin Xian used the devouring sword in front of everyone. The effect was indeed shocking. Although the blood-colored cross-shaped blade, aura, was extremely powerful, it quickly dimmed when it got close to the devouring sword. In front of the devouring sword, the blood-sucking blade, aura's ability to devour blood, was extremely weak and not worth mentioning. It was like an ant and a dinosaur. The difference was very obvious. In the next moment, the blood-sucking crossblade, aura, was devoured by the devouring sword. At the same time, Lin Xian used the black dragon flame sword again. This time, the 80% sword intent merged with the black dragon flame sword, forming a terrifying sword aura that slashed toward the muscular man. The black dragon flame sword carried endless heat and terrifying sword intent as it slashed the blue giant. The situation was like a raging fire meeting ice. The blue giant quickly melted and finally burst into flames. What? Impossible! Almost instantly, the short-haired, red-eyed young man and the muscular man screamed at the same time. Their attacks were countered at the same time, and their opponent was only a late-stage spirit transformation realm kid. Damn it, who is this kid? How is this possible? How can he be so powerful? What is that pitch-black sword? It can even devour my blood-sucking blade, aura, and that black flame seems to be able to wipe out everything. For a moment, the two of them were terrified. Don't hold back anymore. Quickly use all your strength and kill this kid. The short-haired, red-eyed young man said in a deep voice. Okay. The muscular man nodded in agreement. Then the blue light on his body shone brightly, forming a star pattern as if he was wearing a star battle armor. The red light in the short-haired, red-eyed man's eyes became even more intense. He was like a blood-sucking demon as he revealed a strange, evil smile. In the next moment, he slashed his body with both blades. Blood poured into the blades, emitting a dazzling light. An extremely strong smell of blood gushed out. The blades seemed to have turned into blood as they flowed slowly. Go to hell! The short-haired, Red-eyed man smiled evilly as he waved his blades, forming a blood-colored vortex. However, Lin Xian sneered. He controlled the devouring sword and rushed over. Swoosh! The devouring sword disappeared, and suddenly appeared behind the short-haired, red-eyed man. Buffed! The devouring sword stabbed into the short-haired, red-eyed man's back like cutting tofu. It did not stop at all. Then, the short-haired, red-eyed young man's body started to bleed rapidly. His body quickly shriveled and turned into a human skin that floated to the ground. Blood demon! The muscular man and the black-dressed girl screamed, their faces full of fear. They did not expect the most powerful blood demon swordsman to die in an instant. The opponent's means were too terrifying. It seemed like his ability to devour blood was several times stronger than the blood demon. In an instant, the blood demon had lost all of his essence blood. The devouring sword is indeed powerful, but it consumes too much of my soul. Lin Xian sighed. In just a moment, he had used half of his soul power. It seemed that with his current cultivation, he was still unable to fully use the devouring sword. However, Lin Xian was very satisfied with the devouring sword's effect. The powerful blood demon swordsman, who was at the early stage of the spirit-detecting realm, could not resist at all. In other words, if he used the devouring sword, he could easily kill a martial artist at the early stage of the spirit-detecting realm. In the distance, the muscular man and the black-dressed girl were terrified. Their eyes were filled with deep fear. That black vortex sword was too strange. It seemed to be able to devour everything. In addition, Lin Xian also had the terrifying black flames. With so many trump cards, they had no chance of killing Lin Xian. There was even a high chance that they would be killed by him. Chapter 506. Let's go! The sturdy man shouted, not wanting to continue fighting. Even the strongest blood demon swordsman had died. He and the girl in the black dress were no match for him. Moreover, the black dragon flame had already severely injured him. If he continued to fight, he would probably end up like the blood demon swordsman. In an instant, the two of them fled. Don't you think it's too late to leave? Lin Xian's voice was cold, like a killing god. You have to think clearly. We are disciples of the Moon Pavilion. If you kill us, you will become an enemy of the Moon Pavilion. That's right. If you let us go now, I promise we will write off the grudge between us. The girl in the black dress also screamed, I promise I won't chase after you anymore. So, I should let you go, and thank you? Lin Xian sneered. You came aggressively to kill me. Now that you can't beat me, you want to make up? How can there be such an easy thing in the world? Or are your brains stuck in the door? Lin Xian's voice was cold. He didn't plan to let the two of them go. Since they wanted to kill him, they had to pay the price. Want to kill me? It's not that easy. Even if I die, I will drag you down with me. Seeing that he couldn't escape, the sturdy man had a ruthless look in his eyes. The blue light on his body shone brightly, and a blue star pattern flickered. Star fist! The sturdy man waved his fist, wanting to fight to the death. However, his fist was only halfway out when he felt his arms go cold. A stream of hot blood sprayed onto his face. The next moment, the heart-wrenching pain made him scream crazily. It was too fast. He didn't even see Lin Xian's sword light clearly before he lost his arms. Under the combined attack of the black dragon flame and 80% sword intent, his defense was like tofu. It had no effect at all. Let's die together. The sturdy man knew there was no chance of survival. He began to burn his essence blood and spiritual chi, preparing to self-destruct. His body gradually expanded. The blue light in his body shone brightly. His body expanded rapidly like a rubber ball. A violent and abnormal energy gradually rose. Wind Emperor's sword. Lin Xian's expression was cold. His long sword pierced out as fast as lightning. His originally inflated body suddenly became like a deflated balloon, loosening up. Powerless. There was no way. The muscular man was dumbfounded. In front of Lin Xian, he didn't even have the chance to self-destruct. The last sword light flashed, and the head of the muscular man flew out. On the other side, the girl in the black dress was completely stunned when she saw this scene. She stopped resisting and quickly collected the remaining gold-devouring beetles in the sky. "Don't kill me. Please spare my life." He begged for mercy. Lin Xian's expression was cold as he raised his arm. At this moment, the clouds in the sky churned, and a huge head slowly took shape, looking down with cold eyes. Lin Xian's heart trembled. He felt a cold and indifferent aura coming from above. "Divine Bird Palace," the girl in the black dress also exclaimed. "Humph." Lin Xian snorted coldly and pointed at the center of the young man's eyebrows. A ball of black dragon flames entered the girl's body and quickly formed a black flame imprint between her eyebrows. For a moment, the black-dressed girl thought that she was dead, but in the next moment, she realized that she was still alive. However, there was a layer of flame restriction in her body. "Don't act rashly. I can turn you into ashes with just a thought," Lin Xian said in a deep voice. Then he put away the snow-white monkey and Xiao Jin, and quickly left with the girl in the black dress. The girl in the black dress had naturally seen the power of the black dragon flames. Therefore, she didn't dare to act rashly, and could only let Lin Xian pull her away. However, in her heart, she was extremely nervous. As a beautiful girl, now that she had fallen into the hands of a cold-blooded and ruthless enemy, she was afraid that it wouldn't be any better than death. For a moment, various terrifying scenes appeared in her mind, and she was so frightened that she broke out in a cold sweat. Lin Xian didn't care what the girl in the black dress was thinking. He used the illusory demon steps, raised his speed to the limit, and quickly left the area. The reason why he left was because of the huge head above his head. According to the image, he could already tell that it was a bird's head. Coupled with the girl in the black dress's words, Lin Xian was sure that this was the work of the Divine Bird Palace. He and the Divine Bird Palace were sworn enemies. The other party must have used this method to search for him. The aura that the head gave off was too terrifying. It was most likely above the early stage of the spirit detecting realm. Lin Xian couldn't fight against such an aura at the moment. Although he could kill early stage spirit detecting realm martial artists, it would still be a bit difficult for him to kill mid-stage spirit-detecting realm martial artists. The difference between each stage of the spirit-detecting realm was huge. A mid-stage spirit-detecting realm martial artist could easily kill several early-stage spirit-detecting realm martial artists. For safety's sake, Lin Xian chose to retreat. The huge head in the sky became more and more solid. Its cold eyes seemed to come alive as it stared down at the area below. 100 miles away, there was a group of people standing in a valley. There were a few people in the group wearing colorful robes with pictures of birds and beasts. These people had arrogant expressions and looked high and mighty. The surrounding young martial artists respectfully stood to the side, including Black 3 Chu Feng and the others. At this moment, there was a blurry image in front of these people. There were two corpses in the image. It was the strong man and the short-haired young man killed by Lin Xian. When the martial artists behind them saw this image, they all sucked in a cold breath. Isn't this the Moon Embracing Pavilion's Star Fist and Blood Demon Saber artist? They were actually killed. Black 3 Chu Feng, and the others were shocked, and their faces turned pale. These two people were at the early stage of the spirit-detecting realm. When the two of them worked together, they could even fight against a mid-stage spirit-detecting realm martial artist. such a character was actually killed. They were extremely shocked. Not long ago, they reported Lin Xian's matter to the Divine Bird Palace, which attracted the attention of the Divine Bird Palace. Then, the Divine Bird Palace used the aura left behind by Black 3 and Chu Feng to track Lin Xian. The image should show the last moment of Lin Xian's departure. From the battle traces in the image, the person you are talking about should be a swordsman who specializes in fire attacks. If he did it alone, then he should have the strength of a mid-stage spirit-detecting realm martial artist, a disciple of the Divine Bird Palace analyzed. Hearing this, Black 3 Chu Feng and the others were shocked. They remembered that Lin Xian's cultivation was only at the mid-stage of the spirit-transforming realm, but they didn't expect his strength to be so terrifying. For a moment, they felt very lucky to have escaped from Lin Xian. Senior Brother Jiu, it's not that I want to question you, but according to the Tianfeng sex information, that young man seems to only be at the mid-stage of the spirit-transforming realm. How could such a person kill the Star Fist and Blood Demon Saber artist? Yes, could he have a powerful helper? The other martial artists didn't believe it either. Geniuses could indeed fight above their level, but at most they could only fight above one level. It was rare to fight above one's level, and it was impossible to fight above so many levels. Therefore, everyone would rather believe that the mysterious young man must have a powerful helper. However, the young man called Senior Brother Jiu shook his head. Chapter 507. He pointed to the image and said, "Look, the sword marks and flame marks on the ground are obviously from the same person. Obviously, the mysterious boy had no helpers." Hearing this, everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. This kind of combat power was terrifying. "Senior Joe, what should we do?" The others asked. "We must find this person, no matter what." Senior Joe said in a deep voice, "This person is not from our three forces, nor is he a native of the lost place. Then it's very strange that he came here. He must have a way to avoid the restriction spell of the lost place and enter here. If we can master it, you can imagine the benefits." Everyone was excited, especially the disciples of the Divine Bird Palace, with a trace of madness in their eyes. Although they were a 6-star sect, it was not easy to enter the lost place because of the very strict level and quota restrictions. Even the Divine Bird Palace only had about 30 quotas. However, if they could master other ways to enter the lost place, it would be a great fortune for the Divine Bird Palace. At that time, the lost place would completely become the treasure of the Divine Bird Palace. They could obtain endless precious resources. And if they were lucky, they might even be promoted to a 7-star sect. The key to all of this was the mysterious boy. Therefore, catching the mysterious boy was the most important thing besides finding the soul's word beast. "Has Junioring arrived?" Senior Joe asked. "Not yet, but soon. We sent a message to Senioring as soon as we received the news. He must be on his way here now." "Yes." Senior Joe nodded. "Junior Ying's tracking skill is the best among us. With him, he should be able to find the mysterious boy. When the time comes, you will be responsible for catching him." While the people in the valley were waiting, Lin Xian was also moving quickly. The girl in the black dress followed Lin Xian all the way. She was getting more and more frightened. Finally, she gathered her courage and said, "I advise you to turn yourself in. You have offended both the Moon Pavilion and the Divine Bird Palace. No one can escape." Lin Xian turned back and looked at the girl in the black dress coldly. Suddenly, the girl in the black dress trembled and even slowed down a lot. "How do you know I offended the Divine Bird Palace? That huge projection just now should be the Divine Bird Palace's secret detection technique. Using that kind of secret technique should consume a lot of energy." If it's not an emergency, the people of Divine Bird Palace generally won't use it. However, they used such an extremely exhausting secret technique on you. You must be the person they're looking for. You must have killed the disciples of the Divine Bird Palace. Otherwise, they wouldn't be looking for you so frantically. Oh, looks like you're pretty smart. Lin Xian slowed down and walked side by side with the girl in the black dress. Then he revealed a playful smile. Guess what I'm going to do next? Seeing Lin Xian's mischievous smile, the black-dressed girl's heart trembled. Then her expression became flustered. Her small hands clutched her dress tightly, and her face was as red as an apple. I'm warning you, don't act recklessly. I would rather die than submit. I beg you, let me go. I swear I won't tell anyone about your whereabouts. Idiot! Lin Xian snorted coldly. Let me ask you, how is your tracking technique? How is it compared to the Divine Bird Palace? Seeing that Lin Xian didn't do anything excessive, the black-dressed girl was relieved. Then she raised her chin and proudly said their tracking technique is only based on their secret technique and bloodline. In terms of true strength, they're definitely not as good as me. Then, you must have a way to avoid their tracking? They really are looking for you, the black-dressed girl exclaimed. Lin Xian didn't answer her and continued, If you do well, I might consider letting you go. Fine. The black-dressed girl gritted her teeth and said. Her body was sealed by the black flame seal, so she could only obey. In the following time, the black-dressed girl began to use all her strength to avoid their tracking. She sprinkled some kind of pollen on Lin Xian's body to conceal his presence. She also cleaned up the path they were taking. Her technique was very professional. Seeing this, Lin Xian clicked his tongue in wonder. Sure enough, in the next 3 days, the giant head in the sky didn't appear. This made Lin Xian feel a lot more at ease. But on the 4th day, the divine bird's head appeared in the sky again. Above the forest, a pair of cold eyes scanned the area below. Why did it appear again? Lin Xian frowned and looked coldly at the black-dressed girl. It should be the Divine Bird Palace's Ing Wuji. He's the disciple with the strongest tracking ability in the Divine Bird Palace. But don't worry, with me here, he definitely won't be able to find you. Then the black-dressed girl began to sprinkle some powder and some strange insects, setting up a strange array around them. Sure enough, the giant projection in the sky quickly scanned the area and didn't lock onto Lin Xian. In this regard, Lin Xian looked at the black-dressed girl in surprise. Even the strongest detection disciple of the Divine Bird Palace couldn't detect his position. It seems that the black-dressed girl's tracking ability was really strong. She should be an important disciple in the moon-embracing pavilion. In the next few days, the projection appeared several times, but Lin Xian avoided it very well. However, the other party didn't seem to give up and continued to search for him. It seems that they know my identity, Lin Xian thought. In the end, he decided to take the initiative to attack. No matter what, he and the Divine Bird Palace were already mortal enemies. He had a grudge with the moon-embracing pavilion. He killed the ordinary disciples of the moon-embracing pavilion. Although there was a grudge, it wasn't unresolvable. But the Divine Bird Palace was different. He killed the other party's disciples. They were the core disciples of the Divine Bird Palace. So the grudge between Lin Xian and the Divine Bird Palace couldn't be resolved. For such an enemy, Lin Xian would never be soft. If he wasn't cruel, the other party would be cruel and kill him. Can you find the location of the Divine Bird Palace disciples? Lin Xian asked. What do you want to do? The black-dressed girl was puzzled. What do you think? The other party is bullying people. Of course I have to kill them. Hearing this, the black-dressed girl was shocked. The Divine Bird Palace was a 6-star sect, stronger than the moon-embracing pavilion. If an ordinary person provoked such a force, they would definitely run for their lives. They wouldn't be like Lin Xian, still thinking about how to fight back. Humph, this is also good. I'll let this madman fight with the Divine Bird Palace. When both sides are injured, I'll have a chance to escape. The black-dressed girl thought in her heart. Don't worry, I can definitely find the location of the Divine Bird Palace disciples for you. Next, according to Lin Xian's request, the black-dressed girl began to track down the Divine Bird Palace disciples who were alone or weaker. The primeval forest of the Lost Land was really vast, as if it was endless. Lin Xian and the black-dressed girl ran all the way, carefully avoiding all kinds of wild beasts, heading west. There, the black-dressed girl found 2 Divine Bird Palace disciples at the early stage of the spirit-detecting realm. The 2 of them ran quickly, but at this time, the snow-white little monkey suddenly grabbed Lin Xian's hair. Chapter 508. It had a small bowl on its head, and its paws were pointing to the left. Lin Xian was very familiar with the little white monkey's actions. It meant that there was a treasure on the left. Let's go take a look. Lin Xian said to the girl in the black dress behind him. The girl in the black dress was slightly stunned. She did not know why Lin Xian changed direction. However, with her current status, she could only follow silently. Not long after they walked to the left, a pungent smell of blood came from the forest in front of them. The 2 of them slowed down, hid their figures, and looked into the distance. In front of them, 2 beasts were fighting crazily. One of them was a giant elephant with a body as white as jade. It was dozens of meters tall, and its legs were like heavenly pillars. Every move it made was earth-shattering. Its pair of long elephant trunks were even more majestic. They were like the Milky Way, dancing nonstop. The one fighting with it was a 2-meter-long winged panther. Although the winged panther was very small compared to the white jade elephant, no one dared to underestimate it, because its aura was abnormally strong, even stronger than the white jade elephant. Behind the winged panther, there was a pair of 1-meter-long blue wings. There was a blue aura flowing on it, emitting a mysterious aura. With a flap of its wings, the winged panther quickly rushed toward the white jade elephant. Its speed shocked Lin Xian. Suddenly, another great battle broke out. Lin Xian's eyes darted about as he quickly searched the area. Soon, a smile appeared on his face. Under a giant tree nearby, there was a fist-sized golden mushroom. This should be the reason why the 2 beasts were fighting. At this moment, the girl in the black dress also saw the fist-sized golden mushroom and exclaimed, "It is said that the golden mushroom is a sacred medicine for body refinement. It can greatly enhance one's physique and strengthen a martial artist's defense. This golden mushroom is at least a 2,000-year-old fire monkey. If consumed, it will definitely make a qualitative leap in one's body." No wonder the 2 ninth-ranked beasts are so crazy. Not to mention them, even venerables in the outside world would be tempted if they saw the golden mushroom. The girl in the black dress sighed. With her status, she was not fated to have such a treasure. Moreover, even if his identity was free, he wouldn't dare to go. This was because the 2 demonic beasts fighting before her both had the strength of a mid-stage spirit-detecting realm cultivator. A casual attack from them could tear her apart. "Could it be that you want to take action?" the girl in the black dress asked in a low voice. Then she felt a little excited. If Lin Xian was killed by the 2 demonic beasts midway, that would be great. This way, she would be able to regain her freedom and return to the sect. Lin Xian nodded, then warned, "Don't move around. Just stay there obediently." Then he patted the little white monkey and prepared to find an opportunity to attack. However, at this moment, the air in front of him fluctuated again. The battle situation had changed. A half-meter-long demon beast suddenly rushed out, rushing towards the golden spirit mushroom. That little beast was extremely peculiar. Its entire body was green, and the scales all over its body were like small swords that stood upright. At this moment, it was like a sword ray. Its speed was extremely fast. Seeing that someone was secretly making a move, the two demonic beasts roared furiously and pounced with all their might. At this moment, the girl in a black dress was shocked once more. Soul's word beast. Soul's word beast. Lin Xian was also stunned. This little thing was a soul's word beast. He carefully sensed and indeed felt a sharp sword intent in the little beast's body. It's very powerful. It's comparable to a greater success sword intent, as expected of a soul's word beast. It's so small, but it has such a sharp sword intent. Lin Xian patted the little white monkey and asked it to pick the golden spirit mushroom while he ran towards the soul's word beast. The soul's word beast was extremely strange. It was a beast that everyone wanted to find. Now that he had seen it, how could he miss it? Lin Xian and the little white monkey turned into two streaks of lightning and attacked quickly. In an instant, the little white monkey arrived in front of the golden spirit mushroom and covered it with its shabby little bowl. Immediately, the soul's word beast and the other two demonic beasts went crazy, especially the soul's word beast. At this moment, it was the closest to the golden spirit mushroom, but the little white monkey was one step ahead of it. Roar. It was so angry that it roared. Its body emitted a dazzling light, and countless sword rays shot in all directions. The sword chi was so terrifying that it pierced through the void. However, the little white monkey was too fast. It held the shabby little bowl and grinned at the soul's word beast. Then, it turned into a streak of white light and shuttled back and forth among the sword rays. Lin Xian also activated his sword chi. It twisted in the air and formed into sword threads that shrouded the soul's word beast. Sword silk. Bam. The soul's word beast was enraged. It activated its sword rays again. The two sword chi collided in the air like two metals hitting each other. However, Lin Xian was determined to catch the soul's word beast. Therefore, he quickly used the sword of devouring to devour the sword rays. At the same time, the black dragon flame in his hand danced and formed a large black net that covered the soul's word beast. The soul's word beast was shocked when the sword rays were absorbed. It immediately turned around and ran. A streak of light flashed across the void. It was so fast that it disappeared into the forest in an instant. Lin Xian wanted to chase after it, but he realized that the white jade giant elephant and the blue-winged divine leopard were already pouncing on him. Terrifying demonic aura filled the air and wanted to tear him apart. "Let's go!" Lin Xian shouted. He fled into the distance. With his current strength, he was still unable to compete with these two demonic beasts. Hearing Lin Yushuan's order, the girl in the black dress did not hesitate and quickly fled. Behind her, the two demonic beasts roared into the sky. The white jade giant elephant's long trunk sucked in all the spirit chi within a kilometer radius. A huge energy ball quickly formed. A terrifying aura came from behind. The air was turbulent and trembling. The energy ball grew bigger and bigger until it was the size of a small house. Boom! The white jade giant elephant's trunk suddenly shrank. The energy ball quickly exploded, and a white beam of light as thick as a mountain shot out. Everywhere it passed, trees and rocks were all shattered. Not good. Lin Xian sensed the terrifying energy behind him. He increased his speed to the maximum. Beside him, the girl in the black dress was so scared that her face turned pale. With her cultivation at the peak of the spirit transformation realm, she could not dodge this attack. At the critical moment, a strong hand grabbed her and quickly brought her away. Whoosh! Boom! A terrifying explosion occurred. The aftermath of the energy spread out rapidly. Lin Xian took the girl in the black dress and flew away like a sword beam. This explosion was very shocking. It alarmed all the martial artists nearby. Instantly, countless soul perception probed out at high speed. There were also many people who moved. Usually, when such a huge explosion occurred, something big would happen. However, before they could get close, they saw a dazzling sword ray flying out from the explosion. Someone's there? Let's go take a look. 3 martial artists at the early stage of the spirit detection realm moved and chased after the sword beam. Roar. At this moment, another angry roar came from behind them. A terrifying blue light flashed like blue lightning. One could vaguely see that it was a divine leopard with blue wings on its back. The pair of blue wings streaked across the sky and enveloped the 3 martial artists at the early stage of the spirit detection realm. Puff, puff, puff. The 3 martial artists at the early stage of the spirit detection realm stiffened and then split in half. Chapter 509. Inside the hidden cave, the girl in the black dress sat on the ground and let out a sigh of relief. Thinking about what had just happened, she felt a wave of fear. That terrifying energy beam and the blue-winged divine leopard could have killed her countless times over. However, she still survived. Of course, she had to thank the youth beside her. Lin Xian's face was also a bit pale. After all, it was not easy to escape from a demonic beast with the strength of a middle-stage spirit-detecting realm cultivator. If not for his status as an Earth realm cultivator, he would have been seriously injured and on the verge of death. However, it was worth it to take such a big risk because he had obtained the golden spirit mushroom. With this sacred medicine, his golden lightning body would be able to take another step forward. At that time, with his defense, he would not need to fear a middle-stage spirit-detecting realm cultivator. He turned around and said to the girl in the black dress, "Go out and protect me. Remember, don't play any tricks." Then he released the little white monkey to protect him. The girl in the black dress walked out of the cave with a heavy heart and sat on a nearby rock. She rested her chin on her hands and struggled internally. There was no need to think. Lin Xian was definitely going to use the golden spirit mushroom. Once he started to refine it, he would definitely go all out and would not be able to pay attention to the outside world. This was the best time for her to escape. However, if she failed or was caught again, death would await her. The girl in the black dress struggled internally for a long time. In the end, she gritted her teeth and decided to go all out. She did not want to be Lin Xian's slave forever. However, before she could move, the palm-sized little white monkey had already jumped onto her shoulder. The shiny dagger in its hand swayed back and forth in front of her eyes. The terrifying cold light caused ripples to appear in the air. The girl in the black dress stiffened and immediately gave up on the idea of escaping. That dagger made her heart skip a beat. Furthermore, she had also witnessed the little white monkey's terrifying speed, which was even faster than Lin Xian's. In front of this speed, she had no chance of escaping. The girl in the black dress squeezed out an ugly smile and then sat down on the rock with a disappointed expression. Do I have to be controlled by this little thief for the rest of my life? She was unwilling. The reason Lin Xian hadn't killed her yet was because she had the ability to track and counter-track. If Lin Xian didn't need this ability in the future, he would probably kill her immediately. The girl in the black dress looked at the snow-white monkey, and a thought suddenly occurred to her. This little monkey is also a demonic beast. If I can tame it, wouldn't I be able to regain my freedom immediately? When he thought of this, hope rose in his heart once again. Her tracking ability was very strong, but it was all with the help of various mystical beasts So, strictly speaking, she was a beast tamer. She was an expert in beast taming. Even if it was a strange demonic beast like the little snow-white monkey, she had confidence in it. Thus, she began to try to tame the little white monkey. However, what surprised her was that this little white monkey didn't look like a demonic beast at all. It looked more like a cunning human. There were a few times when she thought that she had already tamed the little monkey, but in the end, she was always played by the little monkey. In the end, she almost had a nervous breakdown. The girl in the black dress simply gave up and obediently stayed there. On the 5th day, a violent energy fluctuation suddenly came out of the cave, and a golden light rippled out. The girl in the black dress suddenly turned around and stood up nervously. She only saw a flash of light, and a golden figure appeared like a golden god of war. Every move of his brought with it an astonishing pressure. Then the golden light dissipated, and the figure of the handsome young man appeared again. This figure was naturally Lin Xian. He spent 5 days to completely absorb and refine the golden spirit mushroom, increasing the power of the golden thunder body to another level. Now he could already contend with the attack of a martial artist in the middle stage of the spirit detecting realm. The little snow-white monkey jumped onto Lin Xian's shoulder. It began to babble and make gestures. From time to time, it would give pointers to the girl in the black dress. The girl in the black dress trembled. There was a bad feeling in her heart. Sure enough, in the next moment, Lin Xian's slightly cold eyes looked at her. The girl in the black dress nervously held her small hands, not knowing what to say. Okay, let's quickly find the disciple of the Divine Bird Palace. Lin Xian was not angry. He had just broken through the golden thunder body and was in a good mood. So naturally he would not bicker with the girl in the black dress. And he needed her tracking ability. Okay. The girl in the black dress breathed a sigh of relief and quickly used her tracking ability to find the disciple of the Divine Bird Palace. Half a day later, Lin Xian and the little monkey came to a mountain stream. He and the girl in the black dress hid in the dense forest, looking ahead. In the distance, 2 figures were running, as if they were looking for something. These 2 people wore colorful robes and were about 20 years old. Their auras were strong, and their cultivation was at the early stage of the spirit-detecting realm. Lin Xian carefully checked and found that there were no other martial artists around except for the 2 of them. Then he left the little monkey to look after the girl in the black dress, and his body flew out like a shadow. In the distant mountain stream, the 2 young men were searching and chatting. Life is getting harder and harder. It was already troublesome enough to find the soul sword beast, and now we have to find the mysterious swordsman. Humph, no matter if we can find the soul sword beast or not, we must find the mysterious swordsman. Damn it, I have to work so hard. When I catch him, I will torture him. Don't worry, I will make him suffer. The 2 of them were obviously very dissatisfied. At this moment, a sword light burst out. Blood splashed, and a head flew up. The martial artist on the left fell down. Who is it? You are courting death. How dare you kill a disciple of the Divine Bird Palace? The martial artist on the right shouted angrily, and at the same time, he quickly fled into the distance. He and the dead disciple were about the same strength. If the other party could kill his companion in 1 move, then he could also kill him in 1 move. However, in the next moment, he suddenly stopped because a figure in front of him blocked his way. Who are you? How dare you kill a disciple of the Divine Bird Palace? Are you not afraid of death? If I don't kill you, will you let me go? Lin Xian sneered. You are the mysterious swordsman. The cultivator suddenly came to his senses and screamed. He instantly sent out a signal, but before it could rise, it was cut down by the sword. It's a misunderstanding. A complete misunderstanding. We don't necessarily want to catch you. We can cooperate. If you can tell us the way to enter the Lost Land, we will definitely gain a lot of benefits. The martial artist began to tempt Lin Xian with benefits. Lin Xian smiled, and the murderous aura on his body became stronger. He did not believe that the Divine Bird Palace would be so kind as to share this huge benefit with him. Moreover, he and the Divine Bird Palace had an irreconcilable hatred. This was not known to the disciple of the Divine Bird Palace, but his intentions were not good. Seeing Lin Xian gradually approaching, he suddenly burst out, and a purple flame appeared on his palms and suddenly blasted forward. Chapter 5:10. The purple palm condensed and turned into a fierce light that blasted forward. Boom! As the palm fell, purple flames danced and blasted onto Lin Xian's body. Like a thunderclap, the void trembled and the surrounding spiritual energy roared. In the distance, the girl in the black dress covered her mouth with her small hands, not daring to make a sound. However, she was secretly delighted. If this terrifying force hit a vital point, Lin Xian would be seriously injured no matter how strong he was. At that time, she would be able to remove the restriction and regain her freedom. The disciple of the Divine Bird Palace also sneered. "Ha, little thief, let's see how you die." This palm was enough to injure a martial artist in the middle stage of the spirit detecting realm. That kid's cultivation was obviously not in the spirit detecting realm, so he would definitely die. However, before he could finish his beautiful fantasy, a golden palm had already caught him. What? Impossible! The disciple of the Divine Bird Palace trembled and screamed. The figure in front of him was covered in golden light, as if he was wearing golden armor. He was extraordinarily handsome. He was stunned. That palm had landed on Lin Xian's body without causing any damage. Impossible! How can his defense be so strong? The disciple of the Divine Bird Palace couldn't believe that Lin Xian, a little martial artist in the spirit transformation realm, had a defense stronger than a martial artist in the middle stage of the spirit detecting realm. He wanted to escape, but he didn't have the chance. The sharp blade broke through his defense, shattering his inner armor and piercing into his chest. He struggled with all his might, but his strength was getting weaker and weaker. He wanted to tell his fellow disciples not to provoke this youth. However, he could only fall with endless unwillingness and fear. As expected of the golden spirit mushroom, it greatly increased my divine body's defense. Lin Xian was delighted. He was very satisfied with his current defense. His figure flickered, and he instantly appeared beside the girl in the black dress like a ghost. The girl in the black dress was startled and suddenly stood up. She was extremely nervous. "Looking at you, you seem very disappointed," Lin Shui said with a hint of ridicule. No. The girl in the black dress quickly shook her head. "Okay, let's continue looking for the remaining disciples of the Divine Bird Palace." Just like that, with the help of the girl in the black dress, Lin Xian began to hunt down the disciples of the Divine Bird Palace who were alone. Soon, news of this matter spread. The warriors of the major forces were shocked and started to guess the origin of the mysterious swordsman. The disciples of Divine Bird Palace roared in anger and even issued a kill order. They were a 6-star sect, the kings of this region. No one had ever dared to challenge them. Even Deity Sword Villa and Moon Pavilion of the same level did not dare to do such a thing. However, a weak swordsman actually dared to repeatedly kill their martial artists. This was undoubtedly a challenge to their dignity. So this time, the Divine Bird Palace was furious. They gathered all the affiliated sects and launched a large-scale search. For a moment, the lost land was filled with undercurrents, and the atmosphere was extremely tense. The huge projection in the sky appeared even more frequently, almost capturing Lin Xian's tracks a few times. Fortunately, Lin Xian was able to escape with the girl in the black dress anti-tracking ability. At the same time, the Moon Embracing Pavilion was also searching for Lin Xian. After all, the other party had killed several of their disciples, and the people of the Moon Embracing Pavilion suspected that Lin Xian was able to escape the pursuit of the Divine Bird Palace again and again. And this expert might be their fellow disciple, the girl in the black dress, Zhao Ziqi. The two major forces made a move at the same time, and for a moment, Lin Xian was in the teeth of the storm. Almost everyone knew that a mysterious young man had come to the Lost Land. He was ferocious and dared to attack a six-star sect. However, Lin Xian did not attack at the moment. After several attacks, he successfully killed 5 disciples of the Divine Bird Palace. He got a lot of precious treasures from the storage ring. At this moment, he was lying in the green pool, enjoying the effects of the treasures around him. On the side, the snow-white monkey was also holding the best quality spirit fruit and eating happily. The girl in the black dress was angrily arranging the food and roasting the wild beasts. Damn thief, making me do this kind of work? Eat to death, eat to death. The girl in the black dress gritted her teeth and said, even though she was angry, she did not dare to have any thoughts of running away. After following Lin Xian for a few days, she had witnessed Lin Xian's terrifying fighting strength. The Divine Bird Palace had a noble status, and their disciples were respected geniuses in the outside world. But in front of Lin Xian, they were like chickens and dogs, unable to withstand a single blow. The people of the Divine Bird Palace searched for a few days, but they did not find any trace of Lin Xian. They were all furious. At this moment, they received another important message. The people of the Divine Sword Villa seemed to have found a new ruin. This news shocked the disciples of the Divine Bird Palace, and then they became ecstatic. There were many ancient ruins in the Lost Land, and there were many treasures in them. And this was a place that had never been found before, and there were even more treasures in it. Yi Linyan of the Divine Sword Villa. Jiu Moyan's expression was serious. Yi Linyan was the second genius of the Divine Sword Villa, and his cultivation had reached the late harmonious spirit realm. There was probably no one present who could contend against him, unless it was his 2 senior brothers. However, his 2 senior brothers were busy conquering other treasured lands, and they did not have time to come here. The 3 six-star sects that controlled the Lost Land had similar strength, but there was still a difference. Among them, the Divine Sword Villa was the strongest, especially the terrifying sword essence and the cold sword technique. Every disciple of the deity Sword Villa attacked fiercely, decisively, and ruthlessly. Especially Yi Linyan, he only needed one move to kill. However, even though this genius was strong, he had a strange habit, and that was he liked to be alone. Let's contact the Embracing Moon Pavilion and spread the news. I don't believe that Yi Linyan can fight against everyone, no matter what. We can't let the Divine Sword Villa take the treasured land for themselves. Under the lead of Senior Jiu, the people of the Divine Bird Palace began to move quickly. There was a strange ruin in the primitive forest. Most of the ancient ruins were damaged, but there was one that was still intact. The modeled city walls were filled with sword scars, and it was filled with the vicissitudes of history. The ancient city was huge, and it was hundreds of meters tall. It was like a small city, and it was very majestic. At this moment, there were several figures in front of the ancient city. His robes were as white as snow, untainted by even a speck of dust. His figure was tall and straight like a pine tree. The young man carried an ancient sword on his back and stood in the void. Just like that, he waited quietly without emitting any aura, as if he had merged into the void. Whoosh, whoosh. Suddenly, The sound of something breaking through the air came from afar. Countless rainbow-like rays of light quickly flew toward the giant city. In an instant, dozens of figures descended. The leader was none other than Dove Demonic Flame from the Divine Bird Palace. Yilinian. The group of people looked nervously at the white figure in front of them. No one dared to step forward, not even the Dove Demonic Flame. The young man in white with the ancient sword on his back also seemed to have sensed the people behind him. He turned his head slightly, his gaze like a sword, sweeping across the area behind him. Suddenly, everyone was shocked. The young man turned around with disdain in his eyes. These people were too weak. He stood there quietly, looking at the giant ancient city. The disciples of Divine Bird Palace below were also waiting anxiously. Not long after, another figure floated down. The moon embracing pavilions, Zhao. She also came here. Other than that, there were even more people rushing over. At this moment, the giant ancient city emitted a desolate aura, as if it had come alive. The gate that was hundreds of meters tall slowly opened. Chapter 5:11. Clear Pond Waterfall. Lin Xian suddenly opened his eyes and looked into the distance. Somehow, he felt that a long-dormant sword intent was awakening. As a swordsman, he trusted his intuition, so he decided to investigate. Originally, he wanted to rest for a few days before going to kill the Divine Bird Palace disciples. There were many treasures in the storage rings of the Divine Bird Palace disciples, more than enough for him to use. It would be much more efficient than searching for them himself. Not only could he kill his enemies, but he could also obtain treasures. This was a good thing, so Lin Xian was naturally happy. But now he wanted to put this matter aside. First of all, the Divine Bird Palace was wantonly hunting him down, and the long-sealed sword intent made him somewhat excited. His current Great Dragon Sword intent had reached 80% completion, and as long as he improved it, it would reach great accomplishment. So he wouldn't miss anything related to sword intent. Calling the girl in the black dress, Lin Xian quickly set off in the direction he sensed. Lin Xian led the girl in the black dress through layers of forest and saw a huge ancient ruin in front of them. There were many martial artists in the ruin, and a few of them made him feel a little apprehensive. Late-stage spirit detecting realm martial artists, Lin Xian was surprised. It seemed that this place was really unusual for it to attract such people. He didn't go over but wandered around nearby. Through the girl in the black dress, Lin Xian knew the identity of the dead. Most of them were disciples of 5-star sects, and there were many disciples of the 3 6-star sections. Among them, there were 7 or 8 disciples of the Divine Bird Palace. If Lin Xian went out at this time, he would definitely be besieged. The girl in the black dress also saw the disciples of the moon embracing pavilion. She was excited, but soon calmed down. She couldn't act rashly at this time, or else Lin Xian could turn her into ashes with just a thought. There are so many people. Do you still want to go? The girl in the black dress asked. Of course. Lin Xian raised his eyebrows. As long as we change our appearance and presence, and I don't use my sword, they won't be able to find us. Hearing this, the girl in the black dress was speechless. This Lin Xian was simply too bold. He actually dared to appear in front of so many enemies. If they were accidentally exposed, the consequences would be very dangerous. After that, the two of them quietly knocked out the 2 disciples of the Golden Light sect and changed into their clothes. The Golden Light School was a 5-star sect and belonged to the moon embracing pavilion. As his muscles and bones changed, Lin Xian's figure and appearance changed. He used to be a delicate and pretty boy, but now he had become a burly man. The girl in the black dress used a method to change their auras. Soon, The two of them completely changed their appearance. After reaching the spirit transformation realm, changing one's appearance was a small matter, but the most difficult thing to change was the fluctuation of one's aura. However, with a disguise expert like the girl in the black dress, it wasn't difficult for her to change her aura. Lin Xian straightened his clothes and swaggered towards the ancient ruins. There were indeed many martial artists coming and going, at least 100 of them, so no one paid attention to Lin Xian and the black-dressed girl. Standing in the crowd, Lin Xian paid close attention to his surroundings. After that, he understood the general situation. It turned out that this was a palace that had never been opened before. It was discovered by the people of the Deity Sword Manor. And then the news spread. More and more people came here. These people gathered here and discussed animatedly. A few hot-tempered martial artists rushed over, but they were sent flying by a sword light at the entrance. The three martial artists rolled for over 1,000 meters before they finally stopped. Their armor had been split open and their bodies were almost cut in half. The three of them were all early-stage spirit-detecting realm martial artists, but they couldn't withstand the sword light at the entrance. As expected of an ancient ruin, even the entrance was so dangerous. Lin Xian was speechless. The others were even more shocked and worried, not knowing what to do. Lin Xian looked over, and then his gaze stopped on a snow-white swordsman. That person stood there alone. Although he didn't release any powerful aura, no one dared to get within 30 meters of him. So powerful, the sword intent is condensed and not released, and he can control it freely. Lin Xian nodded inwardly. This white-clothed youth was undoubtedly a peerless swordsman. In addition, he also saw the people of the Deity Bird Palace. These people were surrounding a tall youth. The young man was 2 meters tall, and his skin was tattooed with black veins. He also had a pair of black wings on his back. At this moment, they were attached to his back. "Who is that?" Lin Xian asked in a low voice. "He is Jiu Moyan of the Deity Bird Palace. His strength has reached the late stage of the spirit-detecting realm, and he is ranked 3rd among the disciples of the Deity Bird Palace." Ranked 3rd? Lin Xian's eyes flashed. He found that Jiu Moyan was the strongest among the disciples of the Deity Bird Palace. Such a person is ranked 3rd, so there should be 2 martial artists stronger than him who haven't come yet. At this moment, he had a better understanding of the power of the Deity Bird Palace. These people were far stronger than the geniuses of the Tiannan region. No wonder those 3 disciples of the Deity Bird Palace were so arrogant. In addition to the white-clothed swordsman and Jiu Moyan, there was also a woman in purple who was equally eye-catching. The woman's black hair was like a waterfall, casually tied up with a strand of black hair. There was no expression on her beautiful face, proud twin peaks, a slim waist, and a pair of long, slender legs that were faintly discernible in her dress. This was definitely a stunner that could make countless men go crazy. However, no one dared to be disrespectful to her. This was because the woman's cultivation was abnormally strong, and she had also reached the late stage of the spirit-detecting realm. Such a powerhouse could destroy a group of martial artists with a raise of her hand. Not long after, the white-clothed swordsman finally moved. His figure flickered, and he quickly ran toward the ancient palace. A brilliant sword chi shot out from his body, dazzling beyond compare. The sword light was dazzling, and man and sword became one. In an instant, he broke through the sword chi at the gate and successfully entered the palace. Seeing someone enter, the others couldn't remain calm. Especially Jiu Moyan of the Deity Bird Palace and Yu Qingcheng of the Moon Embracing Pavilion. The 2 of them also moved quickly. These 2 were both at the late stage of the spirit-detecting realm, and their attacks were extremely fierce. They quickly led their fellow disciples into the ancient palace. It wasn't so easy for the others. Fortunately, there were many people left. If they worked together, they could still enter. Lin Xian mixed in with the crowd, and after a few attempts, he finally entered. There was a faint sense of oppression inside the palace. After Lin, Xian entered. He immediately felt an invisible force fill the surroundings, causing the spirit power in his body to circulate much slower. How strange. It can actually suppress cultivation. Lin Xian was surprised. He found that the strength in the palace was only 2/3 of the outside world. However, he wasn't the only one like this. Everyone else who entered would have their strength suppressed by 1/3. After learning this news, Lin Xian revealed a smile. He had tested it and found that it was only the circulation of spirit power and the use of spirit power that was suppressed. Pure physical strength wouldn't be suppressed. You're tuning into the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.